I also I recommend you guys go and watch Rocky 4 because it is an amazing movie. I watched it millions of times. And I think it's a really important film as well because the Rocky franchise itself got a lot of young people into sports throughout the years, throughout the generations, not even just in the 80s, but 90s, 2000s.
Right, so what I'm going to have to do is maybe hang up on you and then open a group one from Facebook.
Okay.
Hey, just got to quickly set something up. Because apparently you can't just do it through your fucking computer. No. I've got to download something real quick. It's fucking stupid. I don't know why Facebook didn't be like, oh yeah, let's just do this in browser. No, you have to. Is that a TIE fighter? Uh-oh. Imagine if you didn't know that was there, though, like... I just looked over and you had a fucking wiggly ass moustache. Hell yeah. Nothing but new. Alright, hold on. Why is my face not here? Why has it decided to upload that there?
Probably gonna have my camera off.
Yeah, it's fine. The only reason I've put mine on is...
Yeah, I'll just
There we go.
Uh-oh.
Okay. Haven't in fact realised I've been streaming this entire time. Hey, Ducky. Shit. I need to open this, mute this. Bing, bang, boom. I also need to get my book, which I've written some notes in. Anyway, so, Ducky, if you're still here. Hello. If not, I guess bye. Who knows?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can. You?
Hang on, say something.
Hello.
Oh, I can't hear you. Hello?
Hello. Is it work? Can you like hear me or whatever? Let me see if I can. Might have to like back out and re-invite. Alright, I'm gonna hang up real quick. Give me a second. Man can't hear me. Is it my fault you can't hear me, or is it like? Hold on, buddy. Hold on. I'm trying to juggle stuff. Why is it not easy to do this on bloody Facebook anymore? Before you could just invite people to a bloody call, innit? Now you got to do all sorts of wizardry. Create a room. Cancel. How do you do a group call anymore? Guys, add people. How do I add people? Customize chat? No. No. What the blooming friggity fuck do I gotta do to get it to work? Create group. Okay, easy. Fucking easy. Alright, hold on. Invite this fella. Okay, for some reason I still would have to do... Bloody flipping heck, that's loud. Hey. Can you hear me, good sir?
You see, George, isn't this much easier?
It's exactly the same. I still had to have the thing downloaded.
Hey.
Hello.
Alright.
Alright, can you hear me?
George.
Huh?
George.
Oh no. Oh no.
I've been live for 15 minutes, George, because he asked me to do this on Facebook, and then we couldn't get it to work.
Listen, okay. It was fine.
Oh yeah, new logo. What are you doing? We're just waiting for George to get on. Ding, 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 ding. It's my Facebook. It's gonna probably ding a bit.
Why is my mic not working?
Such a boomer.
I don't know why my mic's not working.
I don't think he knows that we can't hear him.
But of course I can. I bloody know you can't hear me.
He's running at this stream. Come on, it can't be that hard.
Ah, hang on. No.
Come on.
You know, it puts me in a group and my computer doesn't even allow it, so I've been trying to get on for 15 minutes. I've been live for ages. Georgie.
Why is it always me?
Sorry for the delay, guys. Let's just let him know that we can't hear him.
Listen, okay? Can you hear me now? I'm having a legitimate meltdown.
It's on that thing with his... I'm back, casual down night. It's been going well, Stephanie. It might be another stream after this as well, maybe.
Is it working?
Possibly a Tomb Raider stream, if George can get his arse in gear.
Oh, it's not even... my God.
It's a good job these aren't going up on Spotify. Can you imagine someone putting this podcast on to listen to on the way to work and for 15 minutes of trying to get in the corner?
Yeah, this is
Is it
Specialism
working?
it's not there.
Hello? Oh my God. I don't know what the hell is going on. I'm having a legitimate meltdown about why this isn't working. Now I can't even hear them. What the fuck is going on? I don't know what's happening. Hello?
After he loses, they're literally like,
Yeah, what? Why isn't it working? I don't understand. It's not even like outputting any audio. Like, I don't. I am confusion. I am fully confused. Why does this not work? So I've got two microphones. For some reason, one's not working. Oh, bloody brilliant.
equipment, all the state of the art, gizmos, and Rocky's just training in the woods like old fashioned style, and it shows that it doesn't matter what you got, it's about your spirit and like what you're fighting for. As Biffa just said, he's fighting.
As you grow a sexy beard,
Yeah.
you can achieve anything in life.
I think he does that to blend in now, because I keep following him and no one really likes him.
Oh yeah, he goes remote there.
Hey, how you doing, Wolf? Next stream, Fortnite. Fortnite will come
George.
tomorrow.
It won't work! I don't understand!
Almost at 10 likes.
This is mental.
There'll be a bit of streaming in this, guys, but it is a late night stream. So, I mean, it is, well, past 9 o'clock now.
George, send me.
I can get on the call earlier. The joke is, hiya, Georgie, you want a blue and I found it in your...
It sounds like my audio driver's gonna crash. What the hell is going on? Like, it felt like the audio driver was just about to crash. I don't know what's going on. Wait, hang on. Do I need to turn Messenger? Hold on. Do I need to make it so I can use my mic? I mean, honestly, Skype would be so much fucking easier, but it slows everyone's computers down. Close the Messenger app. Close all this gubbins. Reopen this, reopen this. Oh my god. Maybe it just needed to restart. Maybe that's all it was. Maybe I'm not going insane. Though it is highly unlikely.
good.
Somebody come get her. She's dancing like a stripper. I fully don't know why it's not working either. It doesn't make sense about why it's not working. I'm gonna kill someone. Let me quickly download Chrome. For fuck's sake. I have never had this fucking squishy before. Like I'm legitimately about to lose my goddamn mind. We're doing Discord. We're going Discord. Discord. Fuck Chrome. Fuck all this shit. Discord. We should have done Discord in the first place. Oh my fucking god.
You Mike, that's what it is. Hello, George. Are you there, sir? Shed cast, more like shed's past. What do you mean? I've not been here in a while, a year, and I still remember you. You had a brother as well. It might be your second again, but
What the fuck?
finally, use the computer.
Where's
What was it you were saying earlier?
Why?
Oh, do it on Facebook, but it's gonna be easier. I can hear you now, George. George.
Do you know what? Fuck it. Fuck it,
Broken
fuck it.
man. We can hear you. George. We can hear you.
I legitimately don't know what's going on.
George, we can hear you, mate.
A disaster.
Like, I think it must be outgoing audio. Ah! Hello?
George, trying to work Facebook and Discord.
Hello?
Hello?
Hello? I have no idea what the fuck it was.
Oh, Facebook will be easy, mate. Let's do it on Facebook. We've been saying it for weeks.
No, the thing is, right? It would have worked if Facebook had a decent way of, like, troubleshooting issues. I could not figure out what was wrong.
I think it was your mic, to be honest.
I don't, like, but there's no problem with it on Discord.
As George taking drugs.
I wish. That would make my life easier, honestly.
Should we start on Rocky 4, George? Because I've been streaming for 25 minutes, mate. If this was on Spotify, I'll get the set.
George.
Yes,
go.
mate.
You start.
Alright. Rocky 4. Could have been fixed.
Is that it?
Could have been fixed if this one guy wasn't such a dickhead.
No, George. Do not ruin Rocky 4 for me. I've told you about this, mate. It's going to end our friendship.
Listen, alright? If Apollo wasn't such a goddamn...
I do not want no more Dr. Cox pussies, George, on this stream.
Like, listen. Apollo fully deserves to get beaten. Like, without a doubt, right? Everyone agrees.
Yeah.
He just doesn't deserve to die.
Yeah.
I think The thing about
Is that
Apollo,
it?
I've written
Is that
down,
your whole thing?
that's all he's got to say about Rocky 4. George, you've done no research, mate.
No, I have.
Is that all you, is that
got
all you
pages and
thought about
pages.
it?
No. Like that is the starting point.
The thing about Apollo is like a lot of these boxers today, you know, they get wrapped up in the Hollywood. And that's the thing, like, the thing about Rocky as well is, I know Apollo says this a lot of times. I think in number 3 he says, like, once you're a fighter, you're always a fighter. So he's still got that urge to fight. He still thinks he's good enough, and he don't think his career's over yet. You know, so he wants to jump back in. But he gets wrapped up in all the Hollywood stuff. So, like, when they enter the fight, he's doing all these dances and stuff. He's
I
not
found that
fully
really
focused,
funny. I actually
Yeah,
laughed at
that's
that.
I'm into America.
James Brown.
Yeah, but
Jimmy Brown.
you'd be bloody knackered though, wouldn't you, by the time you get to the fight? You know
Well,
what I mean?
especially when he's not been in the
Going
ring
back.
in 5 years, right?
Exactly. He should not be dancing around and look like... There's no way that fight would get commissioned. I mean, Drago's like 10 foot tall, man, even against Rocky. Rocky's like 5 foot and Drago's
Well,
like
look,
10 foot.
That's what I wondered.
They did
I
say
wondered
that.
how Drago actually, I
It
wonder
was
how he actually weighed in. Like, how did he actually make the limit?
Well,
I don't think he did.
it's
It
supposed
was
to-
it was in the end of
George,
it.
like, the thing is, as well, is it's supposed to be an exhibition, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, and
Yeah.
because Drago and Apollo both have different views, and it's like that Cold War, East versus West, they both hate each other.
Yeah, but I don't think Drago
Obviously,
didn't hate
you
him.
know, what?
I don't think Drago hates anyone. I think he like Apollo
It's the way
fully
he's
put
been
on.
treated. It's like the way he's been reared as a fighter. You know, they treat him like a weapon, like a killing machine.
Well, you can see that he snaps, right? Like
Literally,
during the press conference. That's the reason he agrees to fight is because he snaps up.
Yeah, he gets a bit
it's
pissed off.
supposed to be an exhibition match, isn't it? You know, it's supposed to.
Yeah, well, he could have
Supposed to be
like
friendly, basically.
Apollo could have thrown the towel in at any point in that fight, but he was so fixated on being the champion, even though he's not. He's an ex-champion. He's old, in like boxing terms, right?
Yeah,
So-
in Creed 2, they discussed that because Drago has to throw the towel in for his son. Is it Rocky's fault that he didn't throw the towel in? Because Rocky, you know, he's in Apollo's corner, so he should have threw that in, shouldn't
It's
he?
on Rocky. It's Rocky's fault. Like, a fighter isn't going to quit. Like, it doesn't really happen ever. Like, you've got to basically force a fighter to say that they're done. And for Rocky
Especially
to just
if
be
it's
like,
like-
alright, it's fine.
Yeah. I think that's why Rocky agrees to fight in the end. You can see like the pain and sadness on his face at the
Yeah, well, it's
funeral
not just
and in
that.
car.
The
It's
reason
like,
that he fights is like revenge. It's such a stupid reason for like Apollo to die, right?
It's kind of his fault, right, I guess. So it's kind of
I
revenge.
don't think it's
I don't know.
revenge, George. I think it's more like in honor of his friend because he does it for no money as well. He does it for charity. He's like, no money for the fight. All goes to charity. I'm just doing this because, you know, I just feel like it's partly responsible. But like you say, you can't really stop a fighter from fighting. And Rocky knows that feeling because he's also fought. So it's not really his fault, really, because he's got the same mindset as Apollo. You know. And
Yeah, but
he
that-
does the fight for no
like-
money.
like
He's
he
not really
says-
benefiting anything from it.
Like he says in the film, they should have postponed it for a week or two to find out what this guy was made of, because they've got no information about him. There's no backstory. He just appears one day and kicks the ever-loving shit out of this guy, right? So it's they need like you can't just hop into a fight and expect to win it like that.
In the Rocky world, though, Creed's he's like a legend. You know, he's won a lot of fights.
Yeah.
Before he comes in contact with Rocky, he's a big name in the business.
Yeah, that's what I thought was weird, right? Like, they're not that far apart, Rocky and Creed. Like, we've seen this twice in 1 and 2, that they're actually quite close. So, why does Creed get absolutely battered, but Rocky has, like, an alright time? That's
I
what I
think
don't understand.
it's that thing again that he's distracted. You know, he's just rushed into it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
whereas
Rocky's
Rocky had the
got
opportunity
gone through the
to do
training.
some training.
Maybe
Yeah,
Creed didn't train properly because he genuinely thought Drago was a joke, which makes sense.
That's
But
the issue.
I don't get that he would get battered as that much more than Rocky on.
You can tell he doesn't take it too seriously.
yeah, he fully like feels like he's pumped full of
Fine.
steroids. They mentioned that at one point. It's like,
Oh,
oh,
he is there, isn't he? He's juiced up. Drago's
Maybe
fucking-
a lot like that. Should we get our...
Yeah.
I was gonna say, should we get our first opinions on the, like, overall opinions on the film? To start with.
Yeah.
Okay,
want George
what
to
the
go
fuck
first.
was that
I'd like
robot
to hear.
about?
Yes, man. The robot was.
George, I know that's your favourite part of the film, and you know
I
they've
don't
cut
know
that
where
from Rocky.
it doesn't
They've cut it
make
from the director,
sense.
but
This bloody
Yes,
thing
it
came out of
does.
nowhere. It like
it's-
if I
it's
didn't know
full
it
on
was
80s,
coming,
isn't
that
it?
would have
You know
caught
what I
me
mean?
out of left field. Like,
If
Is
you
there
did
like-
around 1980 something watching that.
Yeah. They thought everyone was gonna have a house robot by now.
I mean, in Japan they
Because
do.
it shows you Rocky's sense of humour, you know what I mean? Because he's got Rocky, that companion, because, you know, he's got nobody, he's living with Rocky and his wife, and they're all loved up, and he's like, oh, I got you a kid. And then later on in the film, Polly's like, oh, she loves me.
Yeah, because he says before the fight, he says to Rocky, like, thanks for looking out for me when I've been a dickhead.
That's one of my favourite scenes, because he's
Yeah,
like,
and
if
it-
I could be anybody, I'd want to be you. And then he sees Drago, he's like, you know what I said? I take it back.
Yeah, it's fucking brilliant, man. Oh, when he's like,
all the best funny scenes
when
in
he's
the
like,
film.
I'm seeing triple, and he's like, punch the one in the middle.
Yeah, that's the He gets all the best lines, man.
Paulie's
Ollie
just
always
fucking
gets the
man.
best line.
I mean, he's a dickhead, but he's just the best one.
Can I just say, George, that your professionalism today, first, you can't even get on the bloody Facebook call, and then I asked you to sum up the movie, and you're just like, what's the robot about? The whole movie.
No.
What's that robot, mate?
Like, I'm happy to talk about the movie, but we have got to discuss that robot. They got rid of it in the
we'll
director's
get to it,
cut.
George. I've got it all written down, because I know you wouldn't have done the scene, so I've written down the most important parts.
Well, I mean, you say it like it's the most important, but it breaks down to 2 fights, a montage in the middle, and a bit of talking. Like, that's what
I'll
this
tell
film
you what.
is.
I could do without the middle montage when he's driving because it's just old shit in it.
Yeah.
I like that. That's one of my favourite scenes in the film.
It
That
seems
gets
a
me
bit like
pumped to watch it.
a recap, and it's like maybe it's my fault because I've literally
The
watched
way
it.
that
more
I
than
watched it, like I tried to dig into it, like in a bit more depth, and it comes straight after the Creed funeral, and Rocky's accepted the fight, and then he jumps in the car, and it's like we're seeing his life flash before him. It's like he knows the risks, and he's like, this could be it. Like you can see on his face that he's genuinely worried, and I think that's what that montage is for, because he's sitting there thinking,
Is it
this
worth
could
it?
be it. And then we cut to him and his son, and then he's straight into Moscow, Russia, well, the Soviet Union, and
I like that he's actually shitting it like for once. Like
Yeah.
he's actually scared of his opponent for once, which is it's rare. Like
I think
Rocky,
Drago is
think
the
he's-
ultimate villain.
He's
I
not
think
even really a
Rocky's
villain,
just
though.
Switched his brain off. He switched his brain off for the other fight, but now he's like, oh shit! Like you can actually get really hurt.
Think
in
of
the
the
ring.
people he's fought before. He's fought Creed in Rocky 1 and 2. He's fought like a couple of people like amateur boxing, and then he fought
Hogan.
BA, and then well, yeah, I mean he was shitting that a bit as well, but he's just fought, and then he fought BA Baracus, but Drago is on another level. Like, you know, he's like 7 foot tall.
Well,
like he's like made us.
You say he's the antagonist, but he's just a guy doing some boxing, isn't he? Really?
I think the bureaucrats, the Russian bureau, they're the bad guy. They really like.
Yeah, they
Forcing him into it.
definitely make him seem to be the ultimate villain. But if you watch Creed 2, you do get a bit deeper into his story, because you do kind of feel sorry for him a little bit, because, as I say, they outcast him. After he loses this fight, no one wants to know him. He's all his family. They don't give a crap.
Well, you can tell they're like put him on a podium, right? Like as they're fighting in Russia, they bring him like the flag, which is like fully like Stalin-esque, like painted, looking to the side, like that's full like Russian propaganda stuff. Like they are putting him on the same level as Stalin.
East meets West, isn't it? Is it Cold War?
Yeah, it's I think it's during Cold War.
Russia and America.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, it's a bit ridiculous looking back. At the time, it probably made sense, but it's so funny now.
I love it, man. I watch it all the time, and it's just it's one of my
I mean,
favorites.
just from like their perspective of like being American like writers and directors, and just being like, yeah, this is sick,
I
man.
love that it's so 80s, and I think it does stand the test of time, because people still regard this as like one of the best, well, the best Rocky film out of the franchise.
And then they go on to Rocky 5.
I just love how vibrant it is and how colourful it is and how 80s it is. Like,
Well, the reason that it's vibrant is because they are portraying
the
a Soviet Russia, which is why it's so red.
The music, you know, the reds and the blues, and Just everything about it, even the cars, everything. Like,
I mean,
it's
my
just so
favourite
80s,
part is
and
that they
it's
got
like,
James goddamn Brown.
That was amazing.
it's the best cameo, isn't it? In like movie history.
He got a Grammy for that. He got a Grammy.
To America.
He did the whole song like he was not fucking about. He was like, if I'm in this film, like
He
I'm
got a
in it,
Grammy
mate.
for that song. He pushed
Good.
because of the movie. It did so well. He got a Grammy for it. I'm like, wow, great.
I like what I like about this movie is there's a lot at stake. You know, like Rocky's lost everything. You know, he's up to his training. He's up to everything. He's gone to a place nobody likes him, and you know he does it for no money. He does the fight for his friend. He's
I heard you talking about the beard
genuinely
earlier. I think that was
Yeah,
only intended
that's
as
very
a way to
He's
show
trying to
time has
blend in,
passed.
You know what I mean? He's trying to.
No, I think it was a time telling thing to say he's been there long enough that he's grown a beard.
Well,
It's good
also,
though because it makes him look like more of a badass, doesn't it? When he gets
but
that
also,
beard.
I think it shows that he's starting to care less about how he looks and the Rocky character. He doesn't really give a shit anymore because he's more focused on the fight as opposed to like the boxing life. Because I think being friends with Creed,
Rocky TV, yeah, Rocky's in the chat.
I think Creed rubs off on him a bit, and Rocky becomes a bit of a showman around the time of Rocky 3, and then he's like, no, actually, fuck it, like,
Well, that's what I was thinking.
He's not going to keep himself clean.
You know when Creed's there, and
In the top
he's
hat.
dancing and singing to James Brown, and Rocky's looking at him like thinking, "This is me." In the previous Rocky film, he's thinking, "This is me." And Mick sat me down. He's like, "You got to stop this, man. You got to stop with all the girls and the fancy gyms and all the music and sign autographs and the fancy women and whatever. You just got to like get your head in the ring because you're gonna get the shit kicked out. You know what I mean?"
Like
So Rocky's thinking that, going through that, and he knows that he's got to cut all that out. So that's why he goes to this little cabin and he trains old school, like literally, like he's trained like 1900 style or something.
Which is the one where he's fighting the pig.
I think that's
Is that one?
The level of stuff that like Soviet Russia gave him. I think they purposely put him there. I don't know.
No.
I don't think that he would have asked for that kind of training style, but
No, I think he did. He fully did because they said all the stuff you asked for was in the shed, and like he clearly like.
They made a point of it because he chose to strip everything back and just have
that montage is one of the best of all time. Like he goes complete badass when he's like training in the woods, man.
That is
a
fantastic one.
Running with Polly and everything. And you see Drago there as well training. You don't really like him at this point because he's just killed Creed, but you have to watch his montage too. You see him being pumped for all this crap, and you know, I was in that movie, and you just see him with all this equipment. And I was saying to Lewis earlier, like it shows that. It doesn't matter what you got. It's like where your head's at and like how much you want it and what you're fighting for. Because
I feel bad that
he's just fighting for himself, isn't he?
I feel bad that Drago's like villainized in this film, right? Like he's just a sportsman doing a sportsman thing.
Are you feeling bad for the villain, George, who killed somebody in the film? This is what are you talking about?
Like.
He says, if he dies, he dies. It's one of the most, like...
Yeah, iconic parts, right?
I've got to chime in there, though. I actually agree with George there. I feel like if you're going to go in the boxing ring...
You've got to be prepared to...
People have died before.
Yeah.
Yeah, people have died. So loads of people have died in the ring. It's like... you've got to at least accept that.
Throwing the towel, but they do explain that in Creed 2. But I still see him as, like... ultimate villain, really.
He chooses to stay in the fight even though he knows he could potentially die.
At the end as well, Rocky sort of, he talks about equality and has that speech, doesn't he? And he's like, if I can be friends with you and we can all be friends, whatever. And he kind of realises what they've done to Drago and stuff, doesn't he? And it's like, let's all...
Like,
he just talks about equality.
Don't get me wrong, it's a brilliant film, but... I fully fell in love with it. But why did Apollo feel the need to get into the fight in the first place?
Is this your first time watching Rocky 4 in your life, George? Where have you been?
No, I've seen it a long time ago. But like
I watched it all the time. You know,
Drago just the only reason Apollo gets into the fight with Drago is because he sees him on the telly. And he's like, "Oh, this is we're being
Again,
invaded.
It's like that Hollywood lifestyle, though, isn't it? Rocky and Creed living in mansions.
Yeah, but and then he's like
he's coming from nothing.
He's
sitting there in the pool with the dogs.
Yeah, with his wife. He doesn't even mention anything about the fight to his wife.
Yeah, but this is the thing. This is something important that Creed says later. It's us versus them. And
yeah.
Like looking back, it's like fair enough because that was kind of the vibe.
Right now,
it's kind of it's very Cold War and it's a bit ridiculous looking back.
But my one pet peeve.
They felt.
The one thing I wish they did was I wish they showed like Creed with his kids because not one point we see Creed interact with his kids.
You don't even see him really speak to his wife.
Yeah.
Exactly. He's just they make him out just to be purely interested in fighting. He's not interested in anything else in life.
He's interested in the fighting and the money, right? That's it. That he cares about the lifestyle.
He doesn't care about anything else. I think if they would have knew, they would have been doing Creed, and they're making Creed 3 soon, by the way. I think they would have built that in more. I think.
Yeah. It does feel like a retcon that they've gone, oh, how can we milk this for another thing, and then be like, oh, family.
Yeah.
Well, it ends quite abruptly, doesn't it? It's just kind of like that bit, like.
Yeah. It's only an hour and a half movie. It went really quickly. Like, I'm so used to.
Quick film,
I'm so used to film like 3 hours long, 2 hours long, 2.5 hours, like Avengers style films. And then suddenly for this film to be
in that movie, The Hot Wife, Rocky 10. It gets a lot done though, doesn't it? For his pacing. I mean, like 1 hour 40, and it gets a lot in there. It's fast.
Yeah, but it's not exactly a lot to cram in, is it? It's a fight, a death, a montage, a fight. No, a montage, a fight.
If they put more stuff in it, they'd just be cramming useless information in.
Yeah, and I'm glad they didn't. Like, the amount of times where people put like parts of stories that don't mean anything at all.
Mm.
But it would have been nice to have a little bit more backstory, in that film alone, rather than in a separate film afterwards. It would have been nice.
They might do that though because he's doing the director's cut.
Yeah, but all they're doing in the director's cut is cutting out the robot.
They're cutting out the robot, but I think it's putting in more fight scenes and stuff like that.
They should put more robots.
What this film needs is more fucking robots.
It's iconic though, isn't it?
Fight Drago.
It just got some like guns come out of its like chest.
Yeah.
It suddenly goes all like Voltron style and like fuses with Rocky.
Drago just comes after Polly, just jumps out the ring, and the robot's right there, just comes out the doorway.
Yeah.
Like, a bright light comes out. I will save you, Polly.
Beautiful. Don't come after Paul, man.
I love it because I think the film shows you can get knocked down in life, but then you can get back up, and it's about resilience, friendship.
It's like that song by Tub Thumping.
Work ethic,
Is that the song? Tub Thumping by Chumbawamba.
Chumbawamba.
I get knocked down, but I get up again.
Get knocked down, but I get up again.
That's a poor comparison there. Rocky 4.
So we start off with a theme tune and Eye of the Tiger. Come on.
Yes, man.
One of the best songs ever, and for workouts and stuff.
It feels like it was made for it.
I love how it starts.
It feels like it was fully made for it, even though it was made for
starts at the end of
karate.
Rocky 3, doesn't it? With that fight that there's like a fight, but we don't know who wins.
Yeah, you think that they're gonna carry it on, but they just pause it again. I love that. They just freeze frame it again.
More of their friendship, and we get to that in Rocky 3 as well. But if you notice, in every Rocky film, there's been like some kind of death. There's always something that makes him fight. Like in Rocky 3, Nick dies, doesn't it? And that's
just cinema shit. I think just
that's just a way to push the story. It's like, we need a way to motivate.
Right?
Look, come on, that would be such bad luck if every time a boxer went into a fight, one of their family members died.
I know. It's a bit ridiculous. I think it just gives him more motivation.
It's a plot motivator. It's all it is.
Mm. I think it's one of the greatest sports movies of all time, to be honest.
I think the fights are the best of the series, definitely.
Yeah, because they're realistic. Did you know that those fights?
They look more real. They just look more raw and just.
It was doing it. You do know that now. he was letting Drago punch him. Those punches were real. Sylvester Stallone got hit that hard in one of those because of one of those punches because he wanted to make it as realistic as possible. George always hates on Stallone, but how?
No, I don't hate on him. What I hate is that I can't understand him. Like the movies are always really quiet.
He got punched in the ribs so hard by Dolph Lundgren that he had to go to hospital. I think he like punctured his lung, man, and if he didn't go to hospital, he would have died. Literally.
I do like it when
by Dolph Lundgren.
I do like it when like actors put themselves at risk. It's like Hong Kong cinema. That's all they do. They hire actors that can fight.
I don't think that would be allowed now, or not to that extent anyway.
It is, because if you have your own company like Tom Cruise does, he does all his stunts because he has the company, right?
The planes. And...
Yeah.
John Wick as well. They do all kinds of crazy shit on that.
Yeah, and that's why I was going to mention that earlier, because it is really realistic, as you say. It's really raw, and you kind of do get a sense that these are not fake shots.
No, and it does make the film better. Like, actually, like, the hits, not pulling the hits and fully committing to it has always made cinema look better. It's why I prefer Hong Kong movies.
Because you're watching, like, a real fight, like...
There's a film that I saw the other day where if a character's wearing a wig, you know they're going to get hit because they've got pads under the wig because they take the hits. And it's like, it's so funny, but, like, these guys are, like, full on fighting. And that sells the movie.
Yeah.
The thing is, as well, you're talking 50 minutes of fight scenes. Like, how long does that take to film? How long was Sylvester Stallone and Dolph Lundgren going at it to film those shots? I mean, because they cut, like, how much of, like, fight scenes and stuff. They probably cut, like, 2-3 hours. Probably, like, 5 hours.
Yeah, but do you think it's multi-angled? Do you think it's multiple camera setup, or is it...
I think it is, yeah.
That'll cut down a lot of the time, but it would still be devastating to get smacked around.
Exactly, especially by Dolph Lundgren. I mean, he's literally a powerhouse in this movie.
He's a brick shithouse. He still is. Have you seen him recently? I saw a picture of him in 2018. He's still fucking a hench.
Yeah,
still on. But the thing is, like, Dolph Lundgren as well, he's had some, like... He was talking about his dad used to beat him up and stuff.
Is he the guy that plays one of the villains in Blade Runner? Or am I imagining that?
No, that's Rutger Hauer.
I'm not sure, but he has been in a lot of films.
That's Rutger Hauer.
He's done like Red Scorpion and Universal Soldier. A lot of big movies. I really like Dolph Lundgren. I think he's a good actor. You know, he used to be an engineer as well, so he's not stupid. Engineer. He went to university and stuff, but then he decided to get into acting because he was... You know, because he was ripped and stuff, and he...
Well, it was the same with Keanu, right? Like, he's like a fully educated person, and he's like decided to...
I love hearing that, though. It's Mr. Bean as well, you know, Rowan Atkinson's like an electrician.
He's
and he plays...
Not only that, but Harry Hill's a brain surgeon, right?
Huh?
Harry Hill is a brain surgeon, the comedian.
Harry Hill?
Yes.
They're playing these ridiculous roles, but really, if you look into it, they're like geniuses.
Harry Hill is not a brain surgeon.
Yeah, he is.
Have you been watching that Harry Hill?
I don't know about that.
I'm Googling it right now because I'm 100% sure that's right.
Brain surgeon. Maybe a doctor or something.
No, he trained as a...
we talk about Polly's birthday?
He's a medical doctor. Hang on, I'm going to read out what his exact profession is.
Brain surgeon?
I think so, yeah. I remember reading about it.
That's what, mate.
If Harry Hill's a brain surgeon, George is like a freaking plumber or something. I said earlier, George, that you actually fit that part of the referee so well. I just imagine you standing there and being like, all right, mate, split up, come on. No,
break it up.
Keep it clean.
Break it up, mate. Keep it clean, you little rats. 100%. I love how Polly's birthday is like, you know, he's got all these balloons and all this stuff on the table. It's like a massive birthday party. And there's only like 5 of them.
There's 2 people there, I know, it's crazy.
I know.
And then the robot comes in.
Brilliant, man. It's actually like, he's terrified, isn't it?
Party.
He's like terrified. Like, what
Little
is this?
tea part with his hat on. And
Well, it looks
stuff,
like
and
it looks like a
Yeah.
mantis or something. It looks like full buggish.
Oh, it looks like a black
I
manta.
wonder who designed that robot, George. Come on, I'm sure you've searched that up. This is your thing, isn't it? Special effects.
No, but that's not special effects. That's a full-on prop. That's a full-on puppet. I didn't even think about looking at that. That's
It's a real-life robot, man.
It's fully brand integrated as well. It's a Sony robot. Like Sony paid for that, you know.
It would be quite expensive to produce that in the 80s because, like, to do all that stuff to make it work back then. Like,
Oh, the thing is, it doesn't really work. I think it is just a suit, and I think there's probably someone inside it.
That's real, mate.
I don't know.
Real life robot.
And then we cut to Rocky and Adrian having that little moment. It's kind of like a love story as well, isn't it? Because they talk about the anniversary and stuff, and then she sees the cake and she's like, "Has it been that rough? You seen the cake? The faces on the cake." Then he gives that. When they're in the ring and there's two heads on there. And then she looked like Playmobil character. And she's like, "Has it been that rough?" That's my notes. That's the sort of stuff I write down. It's like Adrian says, "Has it been that
I
rough?"
like at the party how Paulie's like genuinely sad that Rocky was late. Because he's been a bit of a dick to Rocky the whole time, and then you kind of see him, well, he actually really
They make him out to be that, but, you know, Rocky always has his back, doesn't he? He sees him as
yeah,
back.
like it sets the scene for that scene later where he says, "I wish I could be you." It shows that he admires Rocky, and he goes from jealous to like admiration, and that's like the first thing I think when he's waiting for him to turn up at his party.
It shows how like family orientated Rocky is. Even in Rocky 5, when Polly loses all his money, he still doesn't kick Polly out of the family. He's like, you know, we're all moving in here, but you can move in with us, and he still treats him like family, even though he's lost everything. Like, if someone took all your money and agreed to a deal and lost it all, like, you'd be a bit pissed. You know what I mean? But Rocky's like his family, so he just gets on with it.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if Adrian would want him to actually stick around because he was a dickhead, but yeah, I guess it's alright. I don't know.
Apparently the robot was created to help, is it Stallone's son? With his autism. I think it was a way for him to, like, focus.
Oh, a giant robot.
The robot is named Seiko. The robot was made by International Robotics Inc.
About Stallone's son. He died of suicide, and then he played in the first 5 Rocky films. I think that's really his son. Or at least the one in Rocky 5 is definitely his son.
Yeah, I think that's right. So the robot is named Seiko. The robot was made by International Robotics Inc. in New York, which is the voice. The robot was written in the film to help treat Stallone's son, Sergio, for autism.
If you watch if you watch interviews with Sylvester Stallone as well, he gets really emotional because the interviewers keep asking him about his son, and you know it's a tough thing for him to deal with because that was his only son, and he's only got daughters there, and he lost him because of suicide and stuff. Part of like famous people's kids, doesn't it? Because they're trying to live up to their parents, and you know
it's not always that they're living up to their parents. They lose themselves a lot of the time in the fame around their parents.
I think it was one of the Presleys, Elvis Presley's grandkids as well. He did the similar thing. Being autistic doesn't help, does it, either? You know, with your emotions and stuff.
Not without specialized, like,
watching those interviews, it's hard to watch. That's interesting then. So the robot was for his son. But it's interesting that he would have like cut it out of the film then.
I think they're doing it to save money.
That makes sense then. That's why he cut it out then, because he just didn't want to see it.
Yeah, it's that and saving money.
So not because it was ridiculous.
Well, not to save money, George, because this is a director's cut, so
No, I just read it.
Get like a small budget from the studio.
I did just read it. It's money, mate. It's money saving because I think they want to. The budget on that.
Restore it, make it better quality, and they have to do those.
I don't know how they're going to do it about like cutting the entire scenes out, which is unless they like paint it out. But it'd be weird to have them interacting with blank space where it was clearly framed for something else to be in shot. It happens a lot. Like, you'll notice things will be edited out and people will still be looking at them and stuff.
Yeah. I could not think that I really want to get one of those Rocky Adidas jackets, man. Though.
It's
Oh,
all
yeah.
brands,
Oh,
dude. You know they're
Yeah.
paying for that.
Red, white, and green. I think it was, or red,
Get
white,
that
and
full
green. It looks
trackie.
amazing, man. You can actually buy them as well. I think it's on Salon Shop or something.
Yeah, it's brand
Quality
integration, buddy. It's
Quality
all
looks
paid
ice
for.
cold in that.
Yeah, but George,
tracksuit,
they just look amazing. The Adidas stuff in the 80s is so much more bright and vibrant than today. Today we just get like what I'm wearing now, just black and white.
And grey.
Exactly. So let's talk about Drago's training regime then. So he's almost being trained like a machine, as you said earlier, isn't he? When he punches that bag and it says he hits 1,800 kilowatts of pressure. And then they say like normal
Kilowatts?
fire is 750.
Are you sure it's kilowatts?
Whatever he does, he hits, he destroys. So something like kilojoules or something.
Kilojoules makes more sense. Kilowatts is
he's
power.
He's an ultimate weapon.
Isn't it just like
He's an ultimate weapon, and then you look at Apollo, and he's, you look at Apollo and Drago in comparison. Even Rocky, Rocky's really Rocky's ripped, isn't it? Really, like Rocky's still built like a shit house, but you can tell that Apollo's been out of the ring for a long time, and it's that inactivity, isn't it?
Yeah, it's that inactivity, and it's the fact that he's not been in the ring, and even when he fights Rocky at the start of it, like the practice bout, all he gets in is like a hit in the eye.
I think he does win that though. I think they discuss that in the new Creed, but they don't discuss it in any of the Rocky films. Who wins that third fight?
I think Rocky lets him win. Because he probably feels a bit bad about the last fight. So he's like,
I like that they become friends though.
I know, it's just it's iconic in it, the way those two go from.
It
happens in
the
real
thing is, it
life.
happens a lot in cinema. Like, you'll make friends with the people you're fighting. You see it in.
It happens in real life.
Yeah.
You know, in like MMA and that, there's fighters that like
And
beat
Creed,
the fuck out of
Creed
people.
is such an important figure in Rocky's life, because in Rocky 3, he picks him up when he's down, and Rocky thinks he's all out, and Creed's like, come and train with me.
I think it's because he's seen firsthand how good he is. He knows he didn't take him seriously the first time. Then when he fought him, he was like, well, he's actually very talented, and like that's why he wants him to keep fighting, because he's like, don't waste it. It would be a waste of Rocky's talent, wouldn't it, if he just gave up?
Definitely, yeah. And it also hurts his legacy as well, because if Rocky gives up there, it's like he beat Creed and he was just like a one-shot wonder.
Yeah, he didn't really do a lot. If you think about it, like, he doesn't really achieve a lot after that point if he just retires. Like, okay, he was a one-time champ, but he would have never defended it or anything.
Yeah. And I think Mick puts him in a lot of easy fights, doesn't he? So it kind of affects his reputation.
Yeah, he tells them, doesn't he? He's like, they were setups.
Yeah.
And it's like, fair enough.
I feel
like,
bad for Rocky when he says that.
Yeah, but like, essentially, does still make money, innit? Like, it's everyone's job. Like, the corner needs paying and that. So
I love Rocky 3 as well. Should have done Rocky 3.
I think I didn't like it as much as the other ones. I think
4's my favourite, but 3 is
I like 2 a lot. I really like 2. I like the rematch and the build up and that. Yeah, I want that. But I think Mr. T is really good, but I think the film I wasn't too interested in.
He's like, I'll fight you any place, anytime. You get your woman up here, I'll show her a real man.
I only really like Mr. T in the old A-Team.
No, George, he's so good in Rocky. Have you even watched Rocky 3? You've not even seen it, have you?
No, I just know that he's
comment on it.
No, of course I can. I know that he as an actor, or he as a performer, is a loud individual. You can tell by the characters he plays that he's loud, strong.
Yeah, larger than life. Man.
Yeah, exactly.
But he does bring that energy to anything he plays in.
Yeah, which is nice if it's not over the top.
That's the point, it's Rocky.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, George.
Mate, Rocky 3, I think he's the best thing about Rocky 3. When he's like,
yeah, definitely.
Like, I don't hate that, but I'll pity the fool.
I pity the fool.
Like, yes, man. It's so stupid.
I show a real man.
That's so good. I love how Rocky just gets rattled by that. He's like, don't even start, mate.
You come by my house tonight, I'll show a real man. I love it. Yeah, because the opponents have to be like large and life. Like you have to they have to be intimidating, and Mr. T definitely is on.
I think what's good though is they're never like hateable, you know. They're like,
yeah,
Mr. T's funny. Apollo Creed, like
you can't hate Mr. T, can you?
I mean, even in 1 and 2, like you just can't hate Apollo. Like he's just
got that charisma.
He's such a legend. Yeah, he's just got pure charisma. And Drago, like you say, like
Rocky
feel
5.
Like it's a bit.
I don't know about Rocky 5 because you find that guy a bit annoying. But you know, in Rocky 5, the guy who's playing in that, Rocky trains. He was actually a real fighter, and he contracted AIDS, but he continued fighting for a lot of years.
Tommy Morrison, innit?
Yeah. He was a real life fighter. But they do make him to be a big scumbag in that film, because you got the Duke who's like pushing him to fight and stealing him off Rocky's side, and then at the end he's like, "You hit me and I'll sue," and then Rocky's like, "Sue me for what?" Brilliant. I love that. A bit of a scumbag in that film, but again, he's like, it's the boxing world, isn't it? There's all these dodgy deals, and you know,
especially during the 80s. Yeah, it's nowhere near as bad.
I love how for Creed 1 they got Tony Bellew, like of all the fighters they could have got.
Oh, you know, I watched an interview with Tony Bellew on TikTok. I come across it, and he was talking about the boxing world. He said one of these big fights, one of his early fights, that like got him noticed just before. I think it was Frank something. He come into the ring Bruno? And said to him, "You got to give me 10 grand now. You got to give me the front money. You got to give me 10 grand. Or there's no fight." Before he fought, like how scum is that?
Yeah, man, they rip you off. It's these promoters and that, isn't it?
Imagine that pressure before a fight, and he's asking for the foot money. He's like, "You got to give me 10 grand now. There's no fight. There's 10 minutes to go before the fight." It's pretty bad.
It's like that in all sports, though. Promoters are like leeches.
And you'll be able to find somewhere eventually that treats fighters with respect. You just got to look at you.
I think today, like the big names like Dana White and stuff like that, you think they would treat their fighters better. But
Dana White.
Maybe
I mean, I'm coming into this as like a bit of an MMA obsessive, but he's a scumbag. I mean, he doesn't really pay his fighters enough. He doesn't really help them out. What's the main thing is like people call him out.
Conor McGregor off the cards now, like off the UFC, even though it's his biggest name.
I don't know. It's because he lost, and it's like his golden boy. So Dana's probably just shitting his pants in his spot.
Oh my God, Caleb! Why are you screenshotting my house? Your profile picture now. It's not on, mate. You gotta stop screenshotting everything because I'm not gonna give you mine.
He's gonna sue you.
I had Catman Joe in earlier, who's a big friend of the channel. Got like 40k subs. I've done collabs with him, and he's a nice guy. And Caleb just saying for 20 minutes straight, "Oh, it's Joe Exotic. He's Joe Exotic. Oh, where'd you bury your wife?" He's saying that in the chat, man. The Catman Joe.
Wasn't Joe Exotic innocent anyway?
Joe Exotic. Oh, he's a bad man, I think. I don't know.
Let's not get into that.
Yeah, this isn't the Tiger King podcast.
Shot his tigers, man. He shot his tigers. That's messed up.
I think he is innocent with setting someone up, though. I think that, but I don't know. That's how they make it seem.
What a shocker. We need 2021's Tiger King. We need something like that. It's about time. Maybe it can be Ravy Graves, the Twitch King.
Huh?
The fall of Ravy Graves 12.
All the crazy shit he's been into.
I feel like I'm being bullied, but I'm not quite sure how.
They just come round his house and like film him, and they're like, "And George, he makes videos in his loft.
And he's a scumbag.
He's a scumbag.
And he's a scumbag. You've been scammed." Let's talk about Apollo's fight then. So we get that iconic line: "If he dies, he dies." Everyone knows that line.
Everyone knows it. Even if you don't know the story of the film, you know that line.
I've got to say that I don't think a lot of blame should be put on Drago. I feel like they should have thrown the towel in. It's clearly a set-up fight.
You're just a Drago enthusiast. Were you born in Soviet Russia?
Yes.
I'm a bit of a communist. No, I mean, it's no surprise to George that I'll sympathise with the Soviet Union.
Yeah.
But that's another discussion. No, I just think he's like... it seems like he's bred for it, you know, like he'd breed a horse or something.
They've built him like that since he was
like he doesn't know what the fuck's going on.
Well, it's the same. Like Soviet Russia did stuff like that.
He doesn't even. He doesn't get to talk though, does he?
He's almost robotic, isn't he? In his emotion.
He is, yeah.
He doesn't speak. You just see these eyes, like he just
he's a puppet.
Russia did stuff like that though, right? With the Red Sparrows, that was a film about.
They mentioned that in the film, like about the doping, which is still going on, isn't it? They got banned and that from the Olympics.
They got kicked out of the Olympics for a year, didn't they?
It was quite true to life, to be fair. It was a reflection of like what was going on, but obviously just cranked up to like extreme.
It's the same with the American stuff though. There was not a single bit of racism in the American side, like at all, until the Russians stepped in. It's such an idealized America.
It is definitely like it rides the line between like propaganda, like pro-US propaganda, and I don't like how it sits on the fence at the end when Rocky's like, "Oh, you can change, we can change," and it's like, well, you're not really making any specific references.
Yeah, there's no point there, is there?
Like, are you gonna come out and be like, "Hey"?
Yeah, but for movie making, like, because it's a film, I think that's good because like in today wouldn't make sense. Like, still holds up today because it is ambiguous and it's just like you can change, I can change.
Well, no, it's not that it's ambiguous. It's that he's a fence sitter. Stallone was a fence sitter.
It's not the ambiguity. It's just like, why not just be like, oh yeah, Vietnam was pretty fucked up.
Yeah, that's all that had to be said.
I don't know, that put a bit of a downer on things. I think after he wins that fight, he just started talking about Vietnam.
Well,
I think he had good intentions.
Give him the mic, and he's like, "Good morning, Vietnam."
I think it's like good intentions. I think he genuinely wanted to heal things.
Yeah.
And
it just shows Rocky's character, like in all the films, like how genuine he is, like his morals and what he's all about. You know.
I suppose you've got to separate the characters, or it's not actually Stallone, it's Rocky Balboa, isn't it?
Yeah.
So you could argue that whatever Rocky does doesn't really matter because it's not even. Yeah, it's not real.
No, but the entire thing is it's his screenplay, right? The entire script is Stallone, so he could have done anything he wanted.
But Rocky is the hero that everyone wants to be, I think.
Yeah, I just think at that time that's probably what some people wanted. I don't think it's what America needed, but a lot of people wanted it because they felt like...
When was the Cold War?
It was like late 50s through the 80s.
Yeah, it was a long old thing.
It was essentially like proxy wars where
the Cuban Missile Crisis was the
America
60s.
Was like,
do you think it's terrified of film then to be doing at that time, to be talking about Soviet?
Yeah, no, absolutely.
A little bit, but like George said, it's fence sitting. It doesn't quite go all the way. You could watch it and go, oh, okay, it doesn't really say a lot.
And saying about Vietnam and stuff, I think it would have caused some controversy.
I think that...
But it wouldn't have done, because it was for an American audience. It would have been totally fine.
Yeah, I think the problem is not that it deals with the Cold War, but don't make a film so obviously Cold War and not say anything.
It's good.
There's no stance.
It's like, the bad guys in movies from like
Russia.
80s
to
like
always Russian.
90s were always
exactly.
It's the same with Die Hard. Not Die Hard. Lethal Weapon. The villain was a Russian, then it was a Chinese man.
It's the same with like professional wrestling. It was like that for a long time as well.
Yeah, they had like personas.
What was it called? The Iron Sheik was like from Iran or something. And they had Sergeant Slaughter, which was like an American patriot guy, and it wasn't even ironic in a bit. Like
I don't even think Dolph Lundgren is from Russia.
No, I don't think so.
No, he's just a tall blonde guy.
Yeah,
he could play a German.
Like Swedish heritage.
He could fully play a German in any other film, and they'd be like full on Hitler's dream.
Well, on terms of villain level, like some of the villains we have in the 80s, I mean, we got like Darth Vader and those kind of villains. Like Drago, definitely, he stands up there.
Well, not just that, but like even with James Bond stuff.
I think that's why you watch it back.
Even with some of the James Bond stuff where they are specifically like country people, like the tall German guy.
East
Like,
versus
look
West,
how much they've upped the stakes. Like, as we said earlier, from Rocky fighting Apollo, being the underdog, fighting Ivan Drago, like that's a big deal.
He's basically representing America.
That's a big jump.
They even say that. That's one of the lines, right? He's got the entire country behind his back or in his corner, or
It's
whatever.
like I mentioned earlier, though. It's like I mentioned earlier. Like Rocky's a very different character from Apollo, even though they're both interested in fighting. Like his head's in a different space, and his morals are different. Like Apollo just wants to show off and
Well, that's the thing.
Oppress the Soviet Union, but Rocky's like, I'm doing this to show that we're all people.
Yeah, Creed is very patriotic.
Yeah.
Well, that's a nice way to put it. He's a nationalist, basically.
Yeah, he's a full
very
nationalist.
Nationalistic. And he's obviously very racist against like Russia and the East in general. And he feels like it feels like it's war. Like that's where the Cold War metaphor comes in, where he is like fighting Russia.
He is Cuba. Like the ring is Cuba and he is America.
The ring is Cuba. Yeah, but the ring is the Bay of Pigs, and Creed thinks he's really doing something.
Yeah.
But then he gets killed.
And it's for an exhibition match as well. It's so dumb.
Yeah. Watching this in the cinema in the 80s, seeing Creed die like that, I think that would have been a big shock.
That
for the
would have been
audience.
mental.
Yeah, because the blood and all, like it all looked really realistic.
You can see that Creed, like, he's got no fight left in him, and Rocky really shouldn't have listened to him, should he, when he said keep fighting. But again, he's got the same sort of fight in.
Well, it's not even that.
Instinct, so
like he was a man in the 80s,
fighting.
right? So he just went with it. Like he's like, oh yeah, okay, sure. Like even if he'd have stopped it, Creed would have still carried on. He would have carried on fighting even if Rocky had stopped it. It just wouldn't have been in the ring.
I think he does say in one of the movies, like, to die in the ring is like a privilege or whatever, because that's who he is, isn't it?
Yeah.
Creed?
I don't think Creed wants to retire and like chill out on a beach until he dies at like 80 or whatever. I think he's probably meant to go out that way, which is a bit morbid, but yeah.
I do love that they tackle it.
Well, like
Creed
in like a real life situation, like Tommy Cooper was the same. He died on stage. Like I imagine it's the same thing. Like people always say that he'd be happy to die like that, like on stage making people laugh.
I wonder if it's true. I wonder if it's true though. I wonder if they would really be happy, or they would think, what a waste. Like,
yeah,
maybe they did want a quiet retirement. You never know, do you?
Well, the thing, like, especially with Tommy Cooper, he would not have wanted a retirement. Like he was always the centre.
That's what you think from his persona, and it's the same with Creed. You don't know how much of Creed is just a built-up persona, how much of it is just posture.
No, but Cooper was like that. There were documentaries about it and everything, about how he was at home. He was just the same as on stage.
I love Tommy Cooper because his tricks never work, and he's like, oh, I do like this, do like that, and then it always fails.
But he was a brilliant magician.
Yeah,
like he was a fully inducted member of the Magic Circle.
He purposely messed his tricks up because it was funnier to do it. Like no one else would do that.
Maybe that was his final trick, to die.
Yeah, and it turns out he's not even dead. He's just like hiding under the stage or something.
Yeah, check this out.
It's ironic, isn't it? Because he's on stage all his life and the curtains close, and then that's it.
It was the same with Houdini, though. I think he also
Houdini got punched. Houdini told a guy to punch him as hard as he could, and he wasn't ready, apparently. And he hit him in the stomach and he died.
Yeah.
I mean, it's probably made up shit.
I watched that documentary as well. I think that's true as well. He got punched in the appendix, isn't it? But back then, I didn't know how to fix it. Like,
well, no, he already had appendicitis. He should have been in hospital when he got punched.
He used to have a trick, didn't he, where he's like, punch me as hard as you can.
Like, how have we got from Rocky IV to Houdini anyway?
Because of the dying on stage. It's a common theme.
Back to the agenda.
I know that you guys always rip into Bon Jovi, but I just love it, man. Shot through the heart in that car scene. The look on Rocky's face and the montage of his life, and he's like, as I said.
Tell you what, it would be so cool. I feel like they could have done a short scene of him just driving. That would have been sick. But
yeah, the montage dragged it out for quite a while.
I didn't like the recap.
I like it because if you go for a funeral and then he's just driving and there's no music, like as soon as that door.
No, the music's fine. It's the montage bit that goes with it that confused me.
I think the problem is not even the montage, just the recap. It's like
yeah.
We kind of know, and at that point, it's the most famous films ever. It's like everyone knows.
Yeah, I reckon it is to like show that Rocky's thinking about his life and thinking this, it could be it.
Yeah, I feel like there's
Yeah.
definitely some
Well, the Apollo
filmmaking
Creed.
thought gone into that, but it
But
didn't need to happen.
Yeah.
Like to
Yeah,
the
I mean,
like.
it's not
I
that
think
bad.
it did. That is
No,
literally my
I mean,
favourite part.
like even if it was shorter, it would have been better. Like the full, like what, 5-10 minutes, however long it was.
I love that they're focusing on the car as well as driving away from home, and that's
I mean,
sort of
that
where
is
his journey
super.
begins. When he's thinking about. That's when he's thinking about the fight, isn't it? And he's like, "Yeah, I've got to do this for my."
I love
friend."
how they had no idea that was 80s. Like, they had no idea how 80s it was. They were
Yeah.
doing like.
I love the cars in Rocky. Like,
Yeah, no, man, it's just like they had no idea.
It's the
how
Corvette,
iconic
right? Isn't
would
it?
be.
The thing he was driving. Was it Corvette or was it
I
a
think
Firebird?
80s.
In the fourth one, I don't know.
Corvette. I'm not 100%. But in the 80s, like I think that's everyone's favourite era, isn't it?
In Rocky 2, I think he gets a Firebird.
In Rocky,
Firebird's a
1 or
classic.
2, he can't even drive. In Rocky 2, like he can't
Yeah,
even
in
drive.
Rocky 2, he pulls up, doesn't he, at that like shop, and he's like, "Do you like the necklace or whatever?" And he just like curbs it
Buys the
completely.
car. It's like, you know what? I don't have a license, but I'm getting a car.
You can't drive.
Yeah, he's like, what is he doing? I'm gonna die in this car.
Brain damage.
He can't even read until like Rocky 3, Rocky 4. Like he struggles to read in that because they haven't doing all the ads.
Yeah,
I just
yeah,
love Rocky
yeah.
as a character, and I
Oh,
love
it's a
that in
good
this
thing.
movie as well. Again, he takes the money. He takes the fight for no money, like and shows.
Yeah.
Well, it wasn't a sanctioned fight.
And he might die, and he takes it with no money.
It wasn't a sanctioned fight. They said so, as if like the American Association
Oh,
didn't
yeah.
sanction this fight or whatever.
Yeah, but Soviet Union or whatever could have put together a deal or something. Like he could have made money if he wanted to.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
absolutely.
they
But
could've
like,
paid for it.
they brought him in to lose the Soviets, and like the evil Soviets did.
I think that was part of their plan as well. I wonder if they told like Creed to like injure, not Creed. I wonder if they told Drago to injure Creed to that point so that they got to Rocky.
Well, Rocky probably would have taken the
they
fight
wanted
anyway.
Rocky. They wanted Rocky, didn't they? That was the first thing they said.
Yeah.
And then that's what I didn't get. Suddenly there was like, okay, we'll fight Creed.
Like Creed was going to lose that the minute he goes against him.
Well, no, but Rocky was the target, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, he's fighting Creed. I was like, oh, hang on a minute.
Because
what
he
did I
like
miss?
fully stepped up to him in the press conference. He like fully kicks up about it.
No, I mean before that, like
Oh.
the first thing we see with Drago is, oh, look at this guy who wants to come and fight Rocky, right? But then the next thing you know, it's Creed fighting him, and it's like, why does he need like a tune-up fight?
Well, no, the
Going
reason
there,
why he
right?
fights him is because he like at the press
Yeah,
conference.
to Rocky.
At the press conference, he like full on does
Oh,
that
that's
East
so-
versus West thing. He like calls him like all sorts of
yeah,
horrible
that's
names.
after, isn't it?
No, that's before. That's why he chooses to fight
No,
because he like.
that's after the fight is booked. They book Drago versus Creed. But what my point is, like, what they were going for Rocky. Like, did they know he was gonna kill Creed?
I think they probably told him to injure him. Like,
Yeah. I wonder if that was the plan. Like, maybe they thought he could
however he wanted
actually
to.
kill him.
Yeah,
you know,
like they might not meant like he might not have actually meant to kill him.
Yeah,
He
but they
probably,
knew he would.
he probably
they knew he
actually
wouldn't quit.
expected to throw in the towel.
Yeah, they knew he wouldn't throw in the towel, so they could just beat him up forever.
I love that. Like after the montages in the car, he goes straight into the deep end, and he's in Soviet Russia. He's in the snow, freezing cold, and he's doing this like crazy training with logs and.
So good, man.
That's classic montage. That
No
is.
one. I always
No.
think back to that as one of my favourite parts because he's in Soviet Russia. Like the stakes have been upped. He's never been in that position before. Like in Rocky 1, though, he does kind of train old school, but he's in the freezing cold weather, man.
Isn't he just punching a pig in that one? That's all I remember from that film.
Yeah, probably
Oh,
lets
he
him
tastes
into the meat
oh, he just
factory.
But you know, they're even following him and everything. Like they're keeping a watchful eye on everything he's doing. The Soviets are.
Yeah, but is that
Yeah.
for his safety, combined with?
Well, that's what they say, innit? They
Yeah,
say
yeah,
that
yeah.
we're gonna have to watch it. I don't. It might be.
I think it's because he's an American.
Yeah,
no,
Probably thought he's a spy.
As an American in Soviet Russia, they've got to worry about him bringing America over, like even if it's just in a small town like that.
Yeah. Exactly. I think it's one of the best montages of all time. I've written down some of the stuff he's doing in there. Running up mountains, picking up horse carriages, lifting logs, pulling Polly on a cart, like everyone on the cart, cutting logs. It is completely transformed.
That mountain shot is actually very impressive.
Yeah, I know. I like it would have been on a helicopter.
That's mental.
They would have done it on a copter or a really big crane.
Yeah, I think I read something about him filming that because, like, how do you film in those conditions? Like,
I know it's very impressive.
Got to be a feat in filmmaking, and I think I've heard him.
Now you can just do a drone shot, right? Like easy drone shot.
Yeah, but they wouldn't even drone it. They'd green screen it. They'd CGI it. Yeah, like, you see how many of these cities in that are built CGI now, and it's like, what?
The thing is, though,
the entire Avengers Endgame was on a set, on a green screen.
It just looks awful, though, doesn't it? Them Avengers, they just look terrible.
It's just long
even with like old school 80s stuff. Even old school 80s stuff where it's on like a matte painting or a rotating screen behind them, like backlit projection. They look better.
Better, isn't it? Practical.
Even like the backlit projections look good, but they're like slightly out of color. Like you'll notice it in RoboCop. There are scenes where they're like the color like changes.
RoboCop.
What about Cliffhanger? Seen that film?
No.
Cliffhanger's Stallone again, literally, like climbing across mountains, rock climbing. He's doing all sorts of stuff in that, and it's all set in the snow as well. Brilliant film as well.
It's probably done at the same time, to be honest. If it was, they got the snow there, I'd be like, oh, we can film it.
Yeah, we can film 2 of them, mate. 2 for the price of 1.
2 for the price of 1, mate. Half the film.
But yeah, Stallone, like some of the movies he made in that era. I mean, you got Rambo as well. Like, think how that's filmed.
Rambo was great.
I think he's one of the most passionate actors and filmmakers. I know you give him a lot of like crap because you don't like how his voice sounds and stuff.
No, it's not that I don't like how his voice sounds. It's I can't understand him, and that is key to be understood as an actor. Like, I understand it's not his fault and it's like a lisp or whatever, but you know,
it's not like an iconic voice. It's like Schwarzenegger as well back in that day.
Yeah, but that's because he's Austrian. That's not because, like, you can still understand what Arnie's saying. Did you ever watch Expendables?
Not for a long time.
They are awful.
I know, but I love that Arnie just rips a smart car door off. That is like the most iconic part of that film. It's just him trying to open a door and pulling it off. That was so funny to me.
Those 3 are some of the shittest films I've ever seen.
That's where Mario says, "Come with me if you want to live." Is that the first time he says it?
Terminator.
Not an Expendables.
No, it says it in Terminator.
Yeah, Terminator.
No, it says it in Terminator.
It says it to John Connors, doesn't it?
That's one of his iconic lines, isn't it? "I'll be back."
Yeah, all his iconic lines are basically Terminator.
Too, when he goes into the lava.
Yeah, and just the thumbs up in the lava as he goes down. That is.
Terminator 2 is fucking sick, man.
I mean, the fact that they could do liquid simulation, like they did on the T-10,000.
I don't think I've got it on any of these things, like services I've got.
So they did a full liquid tracking simulator for the T-10,000 or whatever. Like,
that's what James Cameron does, though, isn't it? He just goes for it. Like,
yeah.
He's the man who invents this new shit.
Almost always, yeah. Especially with Avatar and stuff.
Does it? Yeah, like maybe it doesn't look the best now, but he's the first guy to like implement that.
Who directed the Rocky movies, George? The same guy who did the Karate Kid.
I don't know who that is.
I don't know about this one, but I know it. Did you know that 31.9% of this film was montages, 1/3 of the film?
Amazing.
And the second half.
You couldn't do that now. You fully couldn't do that now.
I said that earlier, didn't I, George? Like the montages, like
it'd be a joke.
Yeah, it would literally be an in joke for the production crew.
It would be done ironically. Yeah,
I mean, the only person that comes close I can think of is Edgar Wright, and then he does like cuts, like zoom cuts and stuff. I can't remember what it's called.
But he's taking the piss in it, really.
Oh yeah, like Scott Pilgrim and stuff like that, and Hot Fuzz and all those.
Without the montage, it would lose a lot, definitely. that last montage.
Well, I think this film created the rise of montages because I think before this there wasn't really much of that. I think Rocky has cemented montage sports filmmaking.
I mean, it was always there were always the option for it to be a training montage in all of the Rockies. That was always a constant. So it must have existed before, but maybe not in the forefront.
He put his stamp on it. He made it his.
Yeah.
Like it's his thing. Like we know him for that.
I look at this whole fast pace. Like sometimes I go on YouTube and just watch the montages.
I've got to go piss while you carry on talking.
Right. To get back. I've only got a few more now. I'll probably discuss this bit because George is just gonna say something stupid. But I thought it was a beautiful moment between like Adrian and Rocky when she comes and meets him in Soviet Russia. In the
you know what I thought it is sweet, but also that could be a big distraction if he's worrying about Adrian's here now.
Yeah,
you know, like
fighters, they say like you can't have sex before a fight and stuff.
Yeah, but also just you don't want to you don't want to worry about it.
That night.
Yeah, you want to just focus on your camp. I don't know if
that's true. It is a big distraction, but like it shows their love for each other and shows that she would follow him anywhere, you know, to Russia, to the snow, and she's probably a bit worried for him as well because you know this could be the last time that she sees him. So
yeah, he could get killed.
It's not like she's following him down to London or whatever to the the O2.
Yeah,
to fight. She's following him to Soviet Russia.
To a little shitty cabin in Siberia.
Woods. Looks like something after the Until Dawn.
I love that scene though, man. I love snow. I love like Siberia and like.
He is missing. I know it's maybe because he's looking at the pictures and he's got Adrian's picture right there. And
yeah, mate. You know what I love about that scene is it's unintentional, but he puts up Adrian's picture and then he puts up Tracker, and it's like.
And the only two things he cares about.
They're like those are his two loves in life. Like he's in a love triangle. He doesn't know which one he wants to go for. Adrian or Tracker.
Yeah.
He loves them both.
The thing is, like a lot of sports movies, they would leave the love stuff out, but Rocky has that backbone, and that's probably why he's still alive. To be honest, Adrian's probably why he's still alive because he would just go rails, you know. So it's
I hope you all got a brewski on the go, boys.
We're just saying, George, how it's beautiful that scene on the mountain when Adrian comes and meets him. Like it shows she would do anything for him and like him anywhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a staple of cinema since then. Not just Rocky, but it's sort of become a cliche now that it's like a plot point. Like they become a way like. You'll notice it in.
There was not that lovey-dovey stuff, and I know it's a distraction, but it's something that has to be mentioned because without it, the film has no heart. Does it? Know what I mean? Like it's just pure.
Well, compared to now, right? How many people are thrown into a film as a plot device? Like you'll see.
Right, but you know what they should do? You know what would be really interesting?
If she punches someone.
Do a film about a fighter that just cares about fighting, that doesn't have like a girlfriend or anything. Like someone who just fucking loves scrapping.
That's like the Punisher, but like the Punisher kind of is like that, right?
Not shooting people with shotguns. I mean fighting like boxing.
That's the thing, though, isn't it? Like how many of those characters exist in real life? Like someone who has nobody, you know, like.
Well, loads. I mean,
yeah, there's got to be loads.
Conor McGregor.
Fighters some fighters just do it because they fucking love it. Like it's like a drug. I'd like to see more stories about that. You know, like they do all this like Creed and Southpaw, and it's just like, it's
I think Bruce Lee used to that kind of thing. You know, Bruce Lee. I don't know.
A little bit, yeah. Enter the Dragon. I love how there's a girl there, and he's like, nah, fuck that. Like I've got a mission to do.
Do you know what I like about Bruce Lee? One of the things I like is that he created his own style, his own martial arts style.
Yeah.
Jeet Kune Do.
It's a little bit of everything thrown together in the mix.
It's like Conor McGregor though. Like he's got his wife there, and she even before he made any money, she stuck with him when he was making barely anything. He didn't even have enough to pay the bills. She had to get a full-time job to support him, and she's still with him now.
Yeah, but he's also been a bit of a dickhead to her. You know,
imagine how different Rocky would be if Rocky didn't have Adrian in his life. It would be just crazy. He'd just
probably be
fighting
dead.
everybody.
He'd probably be dead.
He'd be sick, man. It'd be wicked. He'd be mental. He'd be like uncaged.
He was getting into all sorts of trouble before he met Adrian. I mean, he was like
he's a loan shark, wasn't he?
And all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, nah, he'd be dead.
Guy,
in that universe, he'd be dead without her.
In that first film, the guy just winds up so much. He's like, I heard she's retarded, and he's like, she ain't retarded, she's just shy. It's like, wow. Imagine if someone wrote that today.
Yeah, you can't say those kind of things anymore.
You can't really say that. Like,
you know when he's talking to that girl and he's walks past all the buskers and stuff, and no one likes him, and she's being nice to him, and then she walks up and he's like, "You're a punk, Rocco."
He's like, "Hey, screw you, creep."
Screw you creep. But then after he's famous, they'll probably treat him a lot differently, because when he returns in the 5th Rocky film, he's like a celebrity.
I love how those guys are just like do-whopping all day. They're just vibing, like a cappella constantly.
Did you know that one of those guys is Rocky's brother and he's a musician?
Oh, I heard about it, actually. I know he did some music here. I didn't know he was that guy, though.
Yeah, he's one of those guys with the afro. But yeah, I don't think Adrian's a plot device. I think she's...
No, I don't think she is, but what I'm saying is... What I'm saying is it's been used as a plot device. There's no soul in it.
Yeah.
Like,
of course, I think Rocky was such a big film at the time, and the franchise itself, like, it was an indie film. Like, it wasn't supposed to, like, back then, that no studios would take it on. There's one studio said they would do it without Rocky, and then Rocky went to another studio for less money because he had enough to lose. He took that, like, he had to sell his dog and everything to get Rocky out there, and it's become such a staple of the film industry that a lot of films have copied it because it did so well, and everybody loves it. You know. Would you agree, George?
Yeah, but it's the same with a lot of people. Like, not just Stallone. A lot of directors, if it's a passion project, they'll put everything on the line for it. And Rocky is a passion project for him. 80s
movies have definitely shaped like filmmaking.
Well, yeah, because they were like, you're saying that, like, today filmmaking isn't shaped by films that were made last year. That's how filmmaking works. I understand what you're trying to say, but...
Of course it is, George, but that's what I'm saying. You're saying that a lot of movies have used that trope, but it's like you just said, everything is inspired by what came before. If I write a book now, I did projects at uni that were based on robotics and the future and stuff.
And you could not mention Blade Runner for that kind of stuff.
I couldn't get away from it, because it was in my head, and that's what I've been programmed, and the stuff I've been fed. So I was trying to do a project about the future and robotics and stuff, and like Terminator.
It's almost impossible to break away the conventions that you got used to.
There's nothing wrong with that.
It's how stuff is created.
We have genres with established tropes because they work, and at some point you've just got to say, fuck it, we need some tropes. Like, if you want to make a film that's truly unique, well, you can't, can you? You can't. Like,
not now. Everything's been established. If they were like at the pioneering of filmmaking, then yes, but no way anymore.
Yeah, everything goes inside. It would be for us to be like directors or writers if we just went back in time to like 1950 or something.
It wouldn't work. We'd be stuck on the tropes of today, which wouldn't work in the 50s.
Yeah, but even then, there'd be another reference point. You know, like, people think Tarantino is innovative, but he rips everything off, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Like, you think about all the scenes he's homaged, ripped off.
Yeah.
Like, you think something's new.
The way he does it, like,
I'm not. I mean, I fucking love his films. I'm not saying that. I just mean, no one's really new, are they? No one's doing anything new.
Even early filmmaking was based off stage stuff, and that was based off literature, which was based off word of mouth stuff.
You could go back. You go back to the 50s and do a montage and say, "Look at this," and they'd be like, "I've actually kind of seen that before." Like, you think it's a new idea. It's just that Rocky did it
better. Yeah, and everything is shaped by what is done better.
It's not the fact that he was the first guy to do it. It's just he did it best. And now when we think of that trope, we go, "Oh, that's such a cliche," but it's not really. It's just that, like, Rocky IV, for example, just had the best montage that people think about. Like, they did it best.
You can tell it's like, you know, it's passion. It's not like it's been half-assed. Like, you can tell that
films need that. Films nowadays, a lot of the AAA films aren't passion projects, and you can tell.
Yeah.
Avengers is not a passion project. The people that are doing passion projects are the
I
indie
think
projects.
Avengers kind of is. I think the
I wouldn't
Marvel
call it a passion
Studios
project. At the
definitely
start, it might have been,
Yeah.
but it feels like it's just a money-making scheme now.
I think it was maybe around when they were making Iron Man. I think at this point, I don't think
I would say
it's shit anymore.
it's more for the money, but like I'd say the studio does take a lot of care. Like they're bringing in a lot of people who are like comic book enthusiasts to write the stories.
Well, they kind of have to,
all
otherwise
those people
the reason they do that is so
yeah.
that people will buy it, right?
I'll tell you what I think. I don't think DC's passion projects because they get rushed. They get pushed out too quick. Marvel will never push out.
Hey, I tell you what, look, have you two seen that Birds of Prey film?
No, I've still got to watch it. It's on my watch list.
That is actually quality, and I feel like, you know why? Because they got a new director.
Who directed
This new, I think Kathy Yan. So they got a new director who actually gives a shit. They added some new cast members, and it's just quality because like everyone clearly gives a shit.
Everyone said that it was too much focused on Harley Quinn. The other characters were side characters.
Well, that's the point.
No,
Harley Quinn is the main character.
No, it's because it's about the formation of the Birds of Prey, which is kind of an establishing. Which I get that is a good point. But
Suicide Squad, though.
I've never seen that. I mean, everyone says it's shit.
Oh man, half like an hour of musical intros. Fucking killed me off.
I just avoided it. I started the point.
I mean, if you're really passionate about Birds of Prey, then I'm happy to watch that for a podcast because I've still got to see it. And
it's fucking beautiful.
I've seen some clips and it looks like it's actually like it looks incredible. Like the stylization is amazing.
I like it. All the female cast, as you just said, George. Stylization, the bright, bold colours, like the case. I've not really seen the movie, but the case and the clothing and the.
This is what I mean when I say that they give a shit. Like it actually seems like a genuine Harley Quinn film.
Yeah, which is needed. She was given about 20 minutes in Suicide Squad, and most of that was sexualized stuff anyway.
This was a lot of people had the complaint that she was basically portrayed as like the victim of abuse and she was kind of a thing, you know, just show that.
But that's the thing, she is. In the comics, she is.
No, I'm not saying she wasn't. I mean, she was just treated as like the victim. Now she's given room to breathe and she's got her own little monologues and things.
Is agreeing.
But yeah, I know that's a bit off topic, but yeah, what you were saying about like passion projects, it can happen nowadays. It's just it needs to be off the radar.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like
they can't have a massive studio because the studios care too much about profit.
Yeah, but look, you think about how much Suicide Squad was talked up and what a flop it was. You didn't really hear about Birds of Prey. It wasn't a big release.
Rambo thoughts. Rambo is another one of my favourite Stallone films. I love Rambo. Rambo is amazing.
I've not seen any, but I know that the first one is quite a serious deal, and they went a bit off the rails, didn't they?
I don't know which one it was. I watched the breakdown of some of the special effects, and oh my god, the squibs look amazing. Like they look like they would hurt because squibs do hurt, right? They're like explosives that shoot bloods out.
There's some good.
I mean, Rambo, like it goes the extra mile. Like the blood, the guts, the gore, like. He doesn't care because the cop pulls him over at the start and all he wants is a meal and he's like a veteran and he says turn round and he's like no, I'm going for a meal, and they keep pursuing him. They take him to like jail and they're whacking him and stuff and they're treating him like shit basically, and he's a veteran, so he just runs off.
Like Rambo works really well. It's the same with Alien, right, where it's there's like the jungle scenes, which
I love Alien.
You know, you got the Rambo.
I mean Predator, but I do like Alien.
You got the Predator directly after Rocky because Rocky was such a success, and then he was almost an A-list actor. Like he's, you know.
You can sort of tell he's got the same sort of character traits throughout all of his films, which isn't a bad thing.
Because it's that 80s style, you know what I mean? It's one of those 80s action heroes. He was competing with Arnie. And I remember one story because they were friends, and Arnold Schwarzenegger phoned him up and he says, I've been offered this good movie, but I can't do it. I got something else. And it was, he persuaded Stallone to just stop all my mum will shoot. One of Stallone's only comedy films, and they still laugh to it to this day. That's one of Stallone's biggest regrets is doing that movie, and Arnie just laughs his head off. He's just like,
have you ever seen, what's the one where Arnie's fighting like a bunch of Santas?
I like
that Santa film.
Arnie. Yeah,
So funny.
Jingle All the Way.
Yeah, it's
All
so
the Way
funny.
is great.
Yeah, yeah, but Arnie can't talk shit because he did Twins and he did Junior where he gives birth. Junior is where he gives birth to a baby.
But it's nice when you see like very serious action actors in comedy roles, and Stallone's never done that again. I'll tell you a good Stallone film though, Daylight. Have you seen that? Oh my god, that is badass.
No.
He's like an explosives expert, and he like blows up bridges and stuff, and all these he basically blows up holes and stuff in bridges to release pressure, and he gets stuck underground, and there's all mud and everything, and they have to get out. And
The minute you said ground, all I had in my head was holes, like with no prior reason. But I don't want to go digging. Well, that's too damn bad.
It actually reminds me of Uncharted at some point, George, because he has to jump across these.
Can we talk about the Uncharted film? I think I'm gonna hate it.
I think I'm gonna love it.
Like, I love Tom Holland as an actor, but Sullivan is gonna kill me. Wahlberg is not a good actor in my books.
Yeah, it's brilliant. Wahlberg's good.
I think there's both awful casting.
But Tom Holland did say that it's not his best performance because he was too focused on looking good rather than playing the part he felt sometimes. But for an actor to come out and say that shows how passionate Tom Holland is about his craft.
Yeah, it's the same with a lot of films that are made from previous stuff, like digital media. Like, you'll notice almost every video game film is bad. Oh, have you seen the trailer for Mortal Kombat?
I think it's doing alright.
It's gonna be shit, mate.
Oh yeah, I know, but the trailer looks fucking immense.
It's the curse. You can't avoid it. Like, it's literally a curse. You can't make a good
game movies. You got Mario, Super Mario Bros.
That doesn't count. That does not count.
Street Fighter, the original Mortal Kombat, that Assassin's Creed.
Can we just talk about the American bastardization that was Dragon Ball Z? Do you remember the Dragon Ball film?
I'll tell you a video game movie I wanted to work. Assassin's Creed.
I quite liked it.
I really wanted.
I like Michael Fassbender as a serious character. Never as anything other than serious.
The first time I watched it, I wasn't that into it because I had never really played the game, so I didn't really understand it. But for a fan, it's made for the fans. I watched it again after playing number 1, and I loved it. I was like, "This is."
I don't think it's made for. It's not made for diehard fans, because diehard fans would hate it. It's made for like the middle ground who have played it.
Having a knowledge of Assassin's Creed franchise gives it that extra. Extra.
It's like Tomb Raider. The first Tomb Raider film was.
Oh, they're just crap, though, aren't they?
They're crap, but I enjoyed it because it was Angie Jolie, right?
They make a joke out of the games. It's just like, oh, we're making a film, not a silly game.
Shed the man does whatever is shed cast. He can spin to George every time. What?
Is that Calum? Is he drunk?
Exactly.
Someone said Tom Holland's in Sonic. I'm not seeing it.
He is Sonic. No, he's not. Have you seen Silent Hill? That's probably the worst game movie there is.
Oh, I want to play that. Is that the PS2 game?
Silent Hill's on a lot of platforms.
Yeah, but the film is like the worst game film. It's like it could be literally anything. Like you can't tell it's Silent Hill. That's the worst thing.
I mean, the problem is they try and take it away from the game to get it to a bigger audience, right? They'll fully push for a wider audience, which then defeats that it's not a game anymore.
Yeah, they lose the entire the identity.
There has been some video game movies that work. I just can't think of them. There's
Resident Evil. The Resident Evil games. The Resident Evil film. The first one was okay. Like, that was bearable, right? And then it just went fucking off the rails. They're a joke, but can you mention that game without that film without the fucking guy getting chopped by lasers?
Was the Halo film any good?
I didn't even know there was one.
A couple of Halo films.
No, like they're kind of short films, aren't they?
Oh, they're just shorts.
They're gonna make a new one, I think.
Mm.
You know who's playing Master Chief? He's a porn stash from Orange Is the New Black.
I have not seen that, to be honest. I don't know why I'm laughing.
I just like the idea of someone being called Porn Stash. I feel like...
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He's like a total creep, and it's just amazing that they chose him to be.
I imagine you to be called George with that moustache.
Bro, this isn't even a
Porn
moustache.
stash.
This is like a shadow.
That's not a porn stash.
We've not even done the Rocky 4 fight scene, man. Where have we ended
We
up?
don't need to.
Yeah,
We know what happens. He
We
wins.
do
Good shit.
finish it because if someone's watching this and they're a dedicated Rocky 4 fan, and we're going on to talk
Right.
about porn slashes.
Rocky fans, listen. It's good. All right, it's probably the best fight in the
I
whole
just want to
franchise,
say,
yeah.
like, yeah, it's so good. Like, I love the fact that they went there and did a 50-minute fight scene because you often get underwhelmed by the end of the movies in really small fight scenes. It's like The Hobbit, the third Hobbit film. You think it's going to be an amazing fight scene.
No, The
It's
Hobbit
like
wasn't
5
awful.
minutes.
They stretched that out for way too
Gosh.
long. The trilogy.
I didn't enjoy it. It got very underwhelming, the third fight. I remember talking about that with my friend back in the day, and we was expecting this like hour-long fight. Like the book's like massive, and half the book's like the fight scene, and it was like 5 minutes.
Yeah, but that's because they split it into 3 films and then they added stuff that wasn't in the books and stuff, right? Like,
I made this fight very dramatic. You know what I mean? Like
Anyway, The Hobbit shit.
The Hobbit was fucking whack.
But I think it might be my favourite fight, I think, of the whole franchise.
It's really well like
Just
paced.
overall. It's just fucking brutal,
Like,
man.
when Polly says, "Oh, hit the one in the middle," like, that's the best. It
The
really
one
picks
in
it
the-
up.
It's
Like he can't
brilliant.
even like he's blind by rights. He should be, but then he's like he just somewhere gets this amazing strength and just goes ham.
I know, man. It's so raw, like it's
Realism.
you know, it's a pretty brutal
I feel like
fight.
they were
It
taking
just
quite a lot of
looks
inspiration
amazing,
from
and
like.
the crowd, like the sound is just brilliant. The sound design,
I love
The-
it when they're like,
visuals.
you know, they slow it down because
Bye, Dubsy.
in boxing, what they're like 3-minute rounds, it's all really quick. But this is like, you know, it's really dramatic. Like every single part of the fight, like you're really feeling for Rocky. You want him to win, and in 1 minute he's down, and then he's back up, and you can, and then all these efforts.
I
You
can't
know,
like
So,
separate Rocky from Wii Sports boxing. In my head, it's like when he's getting knocked down.
God, do not try and make me think of Wii Sports boxing.
Ba-da-da-da-da-da-da.
Wow,
Nah,
I
I'm just
played
kidding.
Wii
I'm kidding.
recently, it's not as good as it used to be.
that is amazing. What a way to dissect the fight scene in Rocky 4. It's like
That is
Wii
iconic
Sports
as well, like,
boxing.
you know when he wins and he's talking about equality and he's got the American flag round him and everyone's holding him up. And
Oh,
when he
it's
comes into
ridiculous.
the fight, everyone's like cheering Drago, like Drago, 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 and Rocky's there just fully concentrated, not listening to him at all. At the end, they're all cheering for Rocky. Like, and even
It's,
like,
it's because
before
he's
he
seen as
wins
an
the fight,
underdog, right?
Look, man, that would not
changed
fucking
it.
happen. That would not happen.
Like the whole of the Soviet Union just become hardcore Rocky fans in the last round of the
Yeah,
fight.
that is ridiculous. They'd boo him out of the room.
Yeah,
think it was
they'd
a
fully
risk.
like they'd be death threats if it was real life.
Look, is this like your favourite line as well from the film when the kid's talking to his friends and he's like, "That's my dad."
We're
And
not,
they're
we're not
"We're
nerds.
not
Oh yeah, we know.
I just like I don't understand
Yeah,
why they
we
put that in. There was no need.
And he's like, yeah, we know.
That's something you would write.
Aren't they like at Rocky's house as
Yeah,
well?
they're literally at Rocky's house, and they're like, "Of course he's your dad, you fucking idiot." Ah,
We're not nerds, mate.
it threw me for a fucking loop. I like the cinematography of it. It's very reminiscent of like Hong Kong films.
Because I've printed off 10 Rocky facts and it's been covered with random answer The Rock saying he was the highest paid actor in 2016. What a waste of paper.
That is quite important.
And look at this. I'm going to have to go on the internet and search from there, but I'm not doing the video so I can do it. But look, I've literally got loads of pictures of The Rock covering all my freaking text facts. Useless. What a waste of paper. I hate when articles do that, and it was crap.
You
So,
can't escape.
So to fill the time while you're thinking about The Rock,
Good. I've just been coconut bald.
what?
You've been coconut bald. Have you not seen that meme?
No. You know me, I'm out of the loop on memes. I'm old now.
I'm old as well.
I'm in my mid-20s. It's time to move on.
We realise we're all the same age.
I know.
I'm actually 36.
I'm actually 77. You just
I
can't
was
tell.
actually in Rocky 4.
Yeah, I was the kid in Rocky 4.
I was the kid.
I was the one calling him a nerd.
I was Rocky Jr. Yeah, I was his mate. I was Jimbo.
So the thing is, I like how it was filmed. Like it feels very like authentic, like actual boxing would be
Oh, it
filmed.
looks
Stationary
beautiful,
camera
man.
kind of until it like.
It's warm, isn't it? The
Yeah.
colours are warm. The
That's where
red
the
and that.
passion's from, isn't it? You know what I mean? Because it's so realistic, and that's what you want from a fighting film. You don't want pretend punches.
But
Just
like
leave
what
you
I
going
like
in
about
the
it, because they are doing the hits, like it feels like a Hong Kong action film. Like you can tell who's who because of the clothes they're wearing. You can tell who's who because of
I don't think anyone else will go straight to Hong Kong action watching Rocky
Hong
Ford.
Kong?
you watch a martial arts film, and
What's
the
that
villains
film,
always
George?
wear black
The,
and the hero wears white. That's so you can see
what's
the hero
one-
fighting the
George,
villain.
Thing, isn't it?
what is it? Kung Fu Hustle? Is that it?
Yeah,
It's like Star
I
Wars.
fucking love
Yeah,
Kung
that's
Fu
cool.
Hustle. It was so dumb.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Kung Fu Hustle. It's a piss take, isn't it?
That's so
Star
funny.
Wars was inspired by that kind
Yeah.
of thing, because you got the Darth Vader dressed in black, and then you got the Jedi's who always wear white and lighter colours.
That was to make sure you could see the action. So like you're fully. It was an early Hong Kong action film.
Lightsabers. They've got bright red and blue lightsabers.
Yeah, it's
You know, that's in a purple lightsaber because he asked for a purple one.
Anyway, in 2 or in whatever you call it, what would you call it? 5. They both wear black anyway.
Yeah.
Oh no, that's the 6, isn't it?
Yeah, and you're
When
supposed to
Luke
tell
gets
them
the
apart by the
black.
lightsabers because of that.
Yeah,
That's the
Luke's
thing,
wearing
isn't
black
it?
as well.
Because in that movie, his dad's trying to turn him to the dark side, isn't he?
Yeah, but that's the thing. They've got lightsabers, so that's kind of their thing. And it doesn't really matter what they wear.
Should we get on to Rocky facts then, and then we can
Absolutely.
Hell yeah.
talk absolute. You want to talk about it? I think we should give it a ranking today as well when we finish. So, fact number 1. Did you know that Dolph Lundgren only has a small number of major lines in the movie? As if I didn't know that by watching the film.
That is
Like,
a
why is
great
this?
fact.
It's like 5 words he says.
Should be able to recall that he didn't speak much, but when he did it, it was a moment to pay attention because those words actually meant something. Usually, it meant that his opponent was able to get a rude awakening. And it's true, like, the most fierce boxers don't say anything, do they? You know, when you get all these boxers that talk
It's
shit,
MMA fighters do it as well, like a lot worse, right? They Conor McGregor especially.
Paul, like, and you take Jake Paul seriously with all the crappy talks, but then like Conor McGregor would just say one word and you take him seriously.
Back it up. We know it's real.
I mean, Conor
Yeah,
McGregor
Jake Paul
absolutely
just-
like shit talks, but he shit talks with style compared to.
He should, but he's been able to back it up. So
Yeah, exactly.
But without Conor McGregor, I think the UFC would be nothing. To be honest, I think Conor McGregor is so important to the UFC
Well, yeah,
brand.
kind of. I mean,
It wouldn't be as
another-
popular. He's a
Especially in the
huge star for
beginning.
it.
That's a long discussion. I think Ronda Rousey would have had Brock Lesnar in that.
Yeah.
But Ronda Rousey is also up there. I think Ronda Rousey and Conor McGregor are 2 of the biggest stars. But obviously now UFC is becoming more mainstream, isn't it? Back in the day,
I think Conor just helped it kind of blow up. Kind of people knew what it was.
He was a personality. Yeah, it was a fully like intentional thing on his part. I think like to.
I kind of feel sorry
have that
for him
persona.
because after that last fight, like he's really got to prove himself now because he's lost like 2 or 3 fights in a row, and if he doesn't do something crazy in the next one.
Yeah, but
I think it's
honestly, losing a
No,
couple of
yeah,
fights is
well,
nothing really
he
when you
lost
think
one.
about it.
He only lost one. Losses aren't a big deal in MMA. I mean, it's one of those sports where anything can happen. It doesn't really matter.
Even boxing, it
Well,
doesn't really matter. A loss is a
just
loss. You
like
take
Peoria.
it and you move on.
Justin Pryor or Peoria.
Justin Poirier.
Well, he
Yeah,
went
I mean-
for the leg, didn't he? And that's what Conor did in their first fight. So we kind of, switched the
That
table.
was so long ago. It's not even. It was a different weight class as well.
I don't know much
I
about
think,
it, but I just, I like to
I'm
read
just
about the Conor McGregor.
I'm just a fucking geek.
I think the Conor McGregor fights are the only ones I really care about for some reason.
They're
Because of his
balanced with,
personality.
No, McGregor Diaz 2 is a classic, man.
Yeah.
Even a MMA nerd would agree with that. Like that's not even basic shit.
Exactly.
Diaz McGregor 2 is just fucking mental. They are both like inhuman. just battering the shit out of each other.
It's insane that
Basically like Rocky.
it's a sanctioned sport, which absolutely blows my mind.
I love it, man. How amazing that like that is legal and you can pay to watch it.
I know.
How fucking beautiful is
It's
this?
full.
Is
It's
this
like
world, man?
imagine
It
if
didn't
like
really exist in it until like 15 years ago when they started it all up.
Well,
MMA's
it
been
came
a
from,
like mixed martial arts has always been a long
it
running
came
thing.
from I don't know how much of a history lesson you want.
Mainstream. It's never been like on TV and that sort of thing. I think Dana White did this fight. He did UFC, and it was like this fight house thing, and they didn't get paid much, and that's where it sort of started from.
Recently, they only just recently had it. One of them channels, I don't know, like ABC or whatever.
ESPN or whatever.
For the first time, they had a fight night on ABC, which is like a landmark. So yeah, it's only just been like legitimised. People still think it's just like savagery.
And you know why it's become more mainstream?
The thing that I
When
love,
Conor fought Mayweather and made all that money, like that automatically made it
legitimate.
The fights just went up incrementally. Like I think Conor McGregor at like 100 million for like 10 minutes in the ring or whatever.
Yeah, they've helped fully legitimise it as a
no,
pay
I
TV
don't mean
sport.
legitimise that as in the skill. I mean, like,
No, yeah.
People scrapping in a backyard. You get what I mean?
They all hate on him for like losing that fight, whatever. He had like a year or two to change his entire style to just purely boxing, which he's mainly like on the ground fighter.
I think he did it for the payday. You know, I don't.
Yeah, you could tell.
For that much for like 10 minutes. Like, how can you hate on the guy?
Yeah, I don't think he thought he was going to go against one of the best.
And then he promoted his whiskey, and he's like, "This is the best whiskey in the game." Like,
it was a payday.
Yeah, it was a full money motivated fight.
You can't blame him.
That's when I think Conor McGregor was at his best at that point in time. And did you know we can also connect to Rocky as well? This is not on the fact sheet, but Sylvester Stallone actually owns, I think, a good portion of UFC shares.
Makes sense.
Oh, he does actually.
Conor McGregor wanted to buy him off him, but he wouldn't sell him.
Ronda Rousey was in them Expendables, and Randy Couture, and was Rampage Jackson? I don't know if Rampage Jackson was, but yeah, there's quite a big crossover.
I think if UFC was a big thing in the 80s, Stallone would have been doing a UFC film. I have no doubt about that.
I mean, there'd be issues with...
Sport, didn't they?
I think the 80s wouldn't have cared so much about the safety of it, right?
You are.
I think, like, if it was like a huge thing in the 80s, they wouldn't have cared about the safety. People would have been dying left, right,
it's
centre.
like,
it was quite big, to be fair.
Have you watched Never Back Down? Never Back Down franchise. It's literally Rocky, but UFC. It's amazing.
I know that in the 80s it was quite popular, but it wasn't. It was still a bit taboo. Do you know what I mean? Because it's so violent.
Bloodsport, like
people didn't really want to see that. Like I'm telling you.
Yeah, it's not like I feel like until like maybe like Jackie Chan and Bruce Lee and all that, like sort of American, like brought an American audience to, like a big portion of American audience to learn about like martial arts and stuff.
Yeah, but I mean that was before, wasn't it? I mean like in the 80s when they started. When did the UFC? 25 years ago, I think, which would be
25 years ago.
Or like the 90s.
95, something like that. I thought it was like 2004 or something.
No. I mean, it was, you know, Pride and that, and Strikeforce. That's what the UFC was basically. And then they kind of bought all that.
Diana White man, and he moved all the UFC to an island just so he could continue doing it. Like he just bought an island. He's like, oh
to
yeah.
To be fair though, like no one's got infected off anyone, so he's actually doing a good job.
Yeah, but how much money does it have to just say, you know what, we'll buy an island?
Oh yeah.
It depends on where. Some islands are like fairly cheap because of how out of the way they are.
Like,
I don't know about that.
No. Like I mean, there are some islands that are like.
I think that he's like a multi.
You can buy an island that's like literally like 1 square foot and just.
No. I'm not even kidding. New islands are being made all the time because of volcanic activity.
I might get one.
Yeah, we're gonna go buy one. That's what our YouTube money is going towards, mate.
I think we need about 100k or 1 million. We'll have to do quite a few podcasts to get our own.
Yeah, but 100 million,
island.
like 1 million for them is nothing, right? The amount of money they're making on advertising alone.
If I had an island, George, I'd just a real life Minecraft series.
You'd be living in like the jungle, like those. Like all the survival challenges on YouTube.
This is Dave. You've got a massive beard and you're dying of dehydration. You're like, okay, guys, today
we're gonna learn to fish.
Like the guy in Castaway, man, just growing his hair out again. He's got the beard.
Mate, the bit when he pulls his tooth out, man. Oh,
and
fuck, man.
George just talking to a rock saying, "You bloody egg."
George would make Wilson in like a day.
What do you mean?
A day.
I am not that dependent on human interaction.
Like a day, you'd be like, I need a fucking friend, I need a companion here.
You literally are, George, because if I didn't do these streams there, you'd just stay in bed for it and just stay in your loft like...
Yeah, I'll be doing art. I'm literally doing art when I'm not talking to you anyway.
Anyway, I think we need some more Rocky facts.
We ended up in Taiwanese jungles making houses out of bamboo.
Talking about jungles, they might be doing Tomb Raider after this. Depends.
Ugh, it's kind of late though.
I knew he was going to say that, George.
I'm happy to play it. No, I'm completely fine with playing it for a bit.
Have you been playing the game?
Yeah, Shadow.
I've seen the thumbnail where you do the old one with the like triangle to
Yeah, literally
the old character.
It's so funny that you can do that.
That's just popped up, hasn't it?
Is that any good? I started playing that one. Is that the one where it's like Day of the Dead?
Yeah. It's really good so far.
I got to the first fight bit and I was like, this is just fucking naff. It's just like Uncharted, isn't it? I just couldn't be bothered.
Well, Tomb Raider is just like Uncharted.
That kind of... No, I know, but you know what's funny? It's like Uncharted ripped it off.
Yeah, but made it better.
10 times better. Yeah, it's quite embarrassing.
So it's like gone back and forth.
They've clearly spent a lot of time putting effort into the graphics of it because it's so beautiful to look at.
Oh, I just hate it. You know them games where it's like a film where you just got to like press a button while a mountain collapses?
It's not like that. Yeah.
It's not like that though.
The second one was. I played the second one. That was
this one's like open world. It's brilliant, man. You can do all sorts of stuff. But yeah, let's get on to Rocky facts. So, did you know that Tony Burton is actually an accomplished chess player? You know what Tony Burton is?
Nope.
That's Rocky's trainer for the film. Apparently, he's a very astute chess player and actually beat Stanley Kubrick on the set of The Shining.
Fucking love The Shining.
Yeah, I still don't know what actor we're talking about, but I think it's the guy who...
Well, you don't know who Kubrick is?
I know who Kubrick is, but...
He didn't say that.
I don't know who...
The actor. Yeah.
Oh, no, he's the trainer.
3. What?
Isn't
yeah,
it?
the other guy. It's not Paulie.
Yeah, the black guy that was in Russia with him.
But he's not the guy from The Shining.
Oh, no, he played chess as well. Doesn't he play chess against Polly?
No, he plays against a Russian.
Yes. Yeah, he plays chess, yeah.
Number 3. Ivan Drago was meant to be a much different character than Apollo Creed or Clubber Lang. Oh, shit. Creed and Lang were loud, kind of obnoxious, and obviously far more vocal. Drago was meant to be silent, ominous, and deadly. Isn't that the same fact as number 1? What is this freaking website, man?
You might just make your own facts up. Here's my fact. Ivan's not actually Russian.
Hey, I have a fact. Sorry, can I just interject a fact?
Go for it.
You know Burt Young, who plays Paul?
Mm-hmm.
He was a boxer.
He was a boxer and he was in the Marines. Yeah. He's fucking hard.
And he plays this like comedic character.
He should have been Rocky.
It's funny that they're making the funny character in the film, isn't it? They're making
I know. He could probably beat Sly.
Yeah.
If he was in his prime, I don't know about as.
Yeah, I guess he was real.
It's all the cigars. It was one of the most iconic lines of the movie. It was translated into a few different languages and came out a little different each time, but the general feeling was still there.
Oh, and it doesn't tell you what they said.
Yeah, I was waiting to hear it in Chinese or French because that'd be so funny.
That's what it says. All I can say on this website is like 10 facts and like 100 advertisements. So
yeah, I hate those adverts. I hate those sites.
It was the funny. Yeah, me too. Especially when I printed off all that information, just waste 10 sheets of paper on freaking The Rock was the highest paid actor covering all my information.
Yeah, but you knew that. You could tell that from the amount of films he's been in recently.
Yes,
I
man.
knew that anyway. But number 5, it was the highest grossing movie of the series. You got to remember that Rocky movies didn't start out with a bang. Parts 1 and 2 weren't really that popular until later on. See, I thought the opposite. I thought they were quite popular. I know they made a lot of money.
It won the Best Picture.
Yeah, but you've got to imagine, like, getting an Oscar can be made without having a huge audience, as long as the film's good.
Someone's got to see it.
Money, but it's because it had a really low budget. I think that's why.
I guess so. Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
The rumour is that the character of Ivan Drago returned home and eventually committed suicide. But that's wrong, because he was in Creed 2, mate. What the hell is this website?
What? Who came up with that?
No. He supposedly became an alcoholic and lives to an American. His own country just couldn't take his pain. I know that he was doing a lot of slack when he got back, but I know he didn't.
That would make sense if Creed 2 didn't exist, or Creed existed, you know?
I'm going to have to check the author of this page and let you know who it is, because somebody, I don't know if I 100% trust these facts.
You just scroll down and it's a me.
Page. 8,000 people auditioned for
20 minutes old.
Drago. The chance to be the bad guy in a Rocky film would have been no doubt been quite the addition to an acting resume. 8,000 people auditioned.
Yeah.
They got the perfect casting. Stallone had to talk to Weathers into staying for the film. Weathers was ready to walk off the set and quit, but Stallone managed to talk him and get him back on board, so long as Lundgren agreed to stop being so aggressive.
That's brilliant.
Well, of course, he was quite aggressive to Apollo Creed in the film.
Yeah, it's probably just method acting.
Carl Weathers is the one in Predator as well, isn't he? And isn't he?
Yeah.
In Star Wars, does he play Lando? Or is that somebody else?
No, that's. I always forget his name.
Yeah, I do as well. I'll Google it.
They're very similar, aren't they?
What is it like? Billy D. Oh, I can't remember. Yeah.
I'm Googling it.
Stallone took real punching too far. He told Lundgren to just go for it and really hit him. Eventually, his heart swelled from the force of the punches, and he had to be rushed to the hospital for medical attention. That's what I was talking about. Carl Weathers and Dolph Lundgren did not get along. At one point, Lundgren actually flung Weathers into the turnbuckle for real, almost sparking a major fight between the two of them. Can you imagine Carl Weathers trying to fight Ivan Drago?
Yeah, I don't know about
So you got Billy D. Williams, who played Lando.
that. There you go.
You know what's funny about this page, George? You know what it says the author? It just says Tom. It doesn't even give him a second name.
So Lando was in Batman.
Oh, Tom Foster.
Lando was in Batman,
That's
isn't
my
he?
facts, anyway. We can get back to it. That's my facts. Was he in Batman?
Yeah.
I thought he played Batman.
That's what I'm just looking at.
Who put what?
I'm just looking. I'm trying to find out who it is. Harvey Dent.
Not Carl Weathers.
Lando's a different
He plays
guy,
Harvey Dent
George,
in
so
Burton.
Which one?
That's a different guy, though.
Billy D.
Yeah, what
Williams
film?
portrayed Harvey Dent in Tim Burton's Batman.
For the first Batman, yeah. That's the first one that.
With the rubber nipples.
I can't remember that.
So that's it for the Rocky then, guys. What score are we going to give it? I'll give this movie probably a 9 out of 10.
Is this out of 10?
9.5 out of 10, I'm going to give it.
George.
I enjoyed it. Could have been better though, if they'd have cut out some of the throwback montages, which you didn't need. 7. Quite a lot of room for improvement.
7.
Yeah.
Gotta be at least an 8, surely.
No, 7
I'm gonna
because
say,
there was a lot of stuff that didn't need to be in there, and stuff that could have been added.
I'm gonna.
We did agree earlier that everything in the movie is intentional. Everything's been added for a reason.
Yeah, I know. But like, I felt like some of it needed more backstory.
I don't know. I'm gonna say 7.
7 as well.
I didn't like the downtime. The Adrian stuff was boring as fuck. The recap. I don't know.
It was about 10 minutes of recap that didn't need to happen.
I just couldn't be doing with it. It killed the momentum. But this is
I
the
think that
7.
was one of the best bits of the film.
7 is still a very good score.
But then again, this is one of my favourite movies of all time, so I'm bound to be biased.
Yeah, no,
But,
absolutely.
yeah,
Like, you're fine to be biased, but like, it did kill the momentum.
that's
Like,
the
you were like,
point.
oh, fight.
That's the point. Yeah.
Slow down in the middle. Like, I understand that is like a filmmaking thing to slow down before the big finale, but that
even
felt.
not just that as well. I just think generally, I think that the downtime didn't interest me as much. As
Well,
like,
7's not bad anyway. I think you could.
yeah, no, I mean that's that.
Let's check this one on Rotten Tomatoes.
I think 2 is my favourite. The rematch with Creed.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I think that's the best one.
Let's have a look at Rotten Tomatoes score while they're talking.
I bet it's about an 8.
Ooh.
Well,
Tell me, it says 40%, and on the audience score it says 79%. So that is basically like an 8 out of 10, really, isn't it? As a percentage?
Yeah, it's about
they're
8.
completely different.
I'll give it a 9.
That's weird, isn't it? When you get like critics and people saying such different things.
Everyone's got their own take on everything, though.
You've got to remember, though, that the Rotten Tomatoes are only websites, so the critics of today will be very different to the critics of the 90s.
Yeah. They're all retroactive, aren't they? They're released them now, so it doesn't really mean anything.
Compared to movies today, it's obviously a very different time in filmmaking. So
have you got a running ranking of all the films you've done?
No, but we can go back and do it.
Have you rated them all?
No, this is our first time.
Oh, okay.
Maybe next week that could be a section of the podcast.
Here, I'll just write it down now. I'll write it down.
What have we done? We've done We've done a very varied list of films. We've done Karate Kid 1, and then we moved on to Spider-Man 2. Oh, we did Indiana Jones, Karate Kid, and then Spider-Man 2. So very logical, very logical picks.
What would you think for Karate Kid?
Again, probably an 9. Well, I'm giving them 2 higher ratings, but they are my favourite films. I'll give it a 9.3.
What about you? Have you seen it, Lewis?
When I was a kid.
Indiana Jones probably is.
I couldn't rate that.
8 or a 7.
Which one? Raiders?
The first one, yeah.
I turned it off because I got bored as fuck, so you can put down a 4 for me. But don't put a score because I didn't actually finish it, so it's not really fair.
Well, let's try and think of what movie we're going to do next. So we talked about Terminator 2, and we talked about Birds of Prey. I need to watch Birds of Prey anyway.
Yeah.
I also need to watch that Tarantino film, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, so I'm down to either of that.
We can do that unless you're going through your favourite films ever.
No, we're just sort of randomly picking.
Oh, my favourite film. In fact, I've done 3 of my favourite films.
Yeah, George. What's your favourite? What's one of your top 5?
See, this is the thing. Like, I don't have a huge.
Don't make it too weird, George. Because I don't want to be watching.
No,
Tokyo
like I
Ghoul
like
Police
old films.
Yeah,
I like James Bond films, and even though they're like stupid and sexist, I like the character that's portrayed.
What? I'm talking specifics, like top 5. What one jumps out at you?
I think Indiana Jones was George's favourite. That's why.
Yeah, I do like indie.
We can do more indie films.
But then again, I do like actual indie films. Like I like.
What about Star Wars?
I feel like we should do Scott Pilgrim, but I think you'll hate it.
I love Scott Pilgrim.
I've watched it in the past, but
what is there to say?
It's
I
brilliant.
think we should do Birds of Prey or Terminator, or we can do Tomb Raider, the Angelina Jolie one, because I love those ones.
They're so bad though, but I do like it just because it's Angie, you know.
I think she's been in so many films, but I always, when I think about it, I think of Tomb Raider.
If you want to go for like indie and that, then you can just do that because I don't really like it.
Birds of Prey is a good one to do because you're passionate about it. I've not seen it. I don't know whether George has seen it, and it's
No,
it's
all I've
more
seen is
focused on the
some
female.
promotional.
I think George will like it and more.
You know what I mean? And there's not a lot of. There is now in this day and age, but I think a lot of female casts are done as reboots, and I think that's where they go wrong.
Mandalorian has quite a very female cast.
Yeah, but I'm talking about like all female, like Ghostbusters. That was horrendous.
that was-
And not because it had a female cast. It's because of the writing and because they tried to take Ghostbusters and do the same thing instead of making a new idea. They shouldn't reboot things.
The reason,
just for the
like,
sake
I
of
think it
doing
was just poor casting. Like, it would have been fine as a remake if it wasn't for that casting. Like,
stuff like Birds of Prey is perfect because it's a female comic book, like a female-oriented comic
Well, I
book.
can do that whenever because I've already seen it. I might watch it again. But I think I'm going to get it off anyway.
okay.
Yeah, but if it's something else, you don't have to invite me. It's fine.
You trying to back out?
He's trying to back out. Look at him pussying out.
I don't really want to watch Indiana Jones ever again. I'll put it that way. I don't want to watch Indiana Jones every
That's the
again.
point of the
No, that's
podcast,
fine.
though, because you can watch it and then you can really slag it off.
What did you give Spider-Man 2, Mitch?
Literally.
You don't like Spider-Man 2?
He wrecked Spider-Man 2 for me. He kept saying this guy with tentacle arms created tentacles for himself. That's a great.
No, the entire I don't understand. It's such a stupid concept that he decided to put these highly advanced arms on his fucking back.
Spider-Man 2 is one of the best Superman films ever, and George.
Are you projecting?
Yeah, that's it.
I prefer 1, to be fair. I love Spider-Man 1. Oh my god, what fair. I've seen that probably 100 times.
I've just bought the Blu-ray again, so. Yeah, we can do Birds of Prey if you want, or Terminator 2, but we'll decide later in the week anyway, and I'll just ask you, and if you want to take part, you can. We didn't really introduce you, did we, in the beginning?
I'm a nobody.
This is my friend Lewis. We went to school together. He's probably got embarrassing stories about me. Stuff like that.
Really? He's probably got worse ones about me, pal.
All got embarrassing stories.
Nah, that's about you and Sharon. You and Shazza.
Sharon?
Sharing chewing gum, you freaks.
Did you say Sharon?
Oh, fuck, I did, didn't I? I meant... Oh, fuck me.
That trick on her.
My brain just went.
I mean, a chewing gum, George, and she goes, kiss me.
Who did I? What, me and you swapped chewing gum? Yeah, of course we did. We used to snog all the time, George.
No, Claire. Fuck me, I can't... name is gone.
Are you just making up names
Shannon.
or what?
Okay, no, I thought you said Sharon.
I did say Sharon. I meant Shannon.
We play Fortnite now, Stephanie. It's 11 o'clock. I'm playing Fortnite.
I don't need an introduction. I have no presence. I'm a nobody. I like it that way.
This man,
at
at one point in his life, was a amateur...
I'm calling
Did you do journalism for a bit? You still doing it?
Journalism. I dipped into that world and hated it, so I left.
And I'll just say, George, you know, when you've edited these Photoshop things, you made a terrible job in my face, and you spent a lot of time on yours.
I've not even seen that one.
I legitimately didn't even spend time on it. I just cut my head out and stuck it on, and it fit perfectly. I had to colour match yours.
The problem with Lewis is he doesn't look like Poddin in this scene. He just looks like a guy in a shirt.
Like a guy in his shirt.
Because you put my whole head on it. I thought you just did a face when you put my whole head on it.
Oh, the whole head sort of fit. It fit perfectly.
Time for mine. He just cut mine out like a potato and didn't even...
I mean, it's great. I appreciate it, dude.
Even...
No, I honestly, I spend about 2 minutes on each. I go colour match, maybe. If not, just face.
I should have used the comment to turn me into a demon, Rocky.
Oh, yeah, like the colour slider, I pressed one of the wrong buttons and it inverted it and he looked like a fucking demon. It was horrible.
You fit so well into that Rocky and Drago thing. You should literally put that on your Facebook.
No, it fit well because I took the picture specifically. Like, I posed for it to do it.
Zoom in that and make that your Facebook profile picture because that looks better. You look like the guy at Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
Oh my god, what's it called? Rick Moranis?
He stopped acting for a while.
Is that it?
I think so, yeah.
I think it is, yeah. That's right, you look just like that guy, George.
I think at some point we should do a telling of the demon story that is Cat in a Hat. That is a fucking drug trip of a film.
You know what? That film is terrible, but also
we could do
amazing.
Like the entire. We could do Holes. Holes was a fucking great film.
We do have no continuity. Like we went from, you know, Indiana Jones.
Bro, Holes was my favourite film. They'd put it on for English for no reason. Like the film would be either Beowulf or Holes. Now, of which of those?
What are we gonna do, George? Like we're just gonna say, the way they dig this hole, mate, is
it's fucking Shia LaBeouf, man. I loved it.
Shia LaBeouf can die in hell.
There's a guy on TikTok and all he does is watch holes every day until Shia LaBeouf notices him, and he's been doing it for like a whole year, and he's not gonna respond. He's still like day 300.
Shia LaBeouf doesn't. He's gone a bit crazy, hasn't he, for a bit? I think he's slowly come back to it.
There's also a guy who collects Cat in the Hat DVDs, and he's got like 1,000 of them now. He buys one like every week or something.
That's not.
No, that's kind of perverted.
I kind of think this is like George in disguise making his own TikTok because these are two things that George would be totally interested in.
No, Cat in the Hat is just a fucking drug trip, bro.
Funny how you mentioned both those films, George.
Exactly. And then I'm like, oh, they're on TikTok.
Yeah,
So good. TikTok was literally made for you, mate.
Bro, honestly, Holes was the only thing that got me through GCSE English. I'm not gonna lie.
Why? Why did you get you through GCSE English? What does
Did we
Holes
watch it?
We'd watch it in English. It was the English thing.
Mr. Woods.
Yeah, but we also like Pickering used to put it on as
You
well.
had Mr. Woods? No, yeah, I didn't have Pickering. We watched Beowulf and it was shy.
That was
I
like,
don't know how you remember, to be honest.
huh?
I don't know how you even remember what you watched in GCSE English. I don't think
Because there were
Like,
two
Mice and Men
choices.
as well.
It was Romeo and Juliet, the new one, or Holes.
Oh yeah, that's
or
what we watched.
Beowulf.
We watched Romeo and Juliet.
Fuck no, I hated
Oh,
that. I hate Leo.
DVDs.
I don't hate Leo. I just hate that film.
Don't you dare.
Should we do Titanic, George? We could just talk about how there was room on the door.
Dude, I love picking plot holes in a film like that. Like,
Saying that, like, there's another TikTok where the guy just explains everything about Titanic, and like a thousand videos, talks about everything.
Oh my god.
it's a real world situation. Like, it's not a fantasized situation. Man would have fit on door would have still floated. Easy.
Well, it happened, didn't it?
Or, I'll tell you what we can do,
yeah.
George. We can do this. Middle of the week, we'll pick like 4 or 5 random ass films, or 10 random ass films. We'll put them in a poll. I'll put it up on my channel because I've got creative posting, and you can do it on yours. And then the most votes for whatever film it is, we'll pick some new ones, some old ones, some really obscure ones, and then we'll just like let everyone choose.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. But we'll do that after we do Birds of Prey because I'm excited for that.
Yeah.
Like, I like Margot Robbie as an actress. She's paying.
She's so good, man. Have you, oh yeah, and then you've got to watch Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Wall Street as well.
I like her in Wall Street was so good.
She's just wicked, man. She's fucking cool.
Yeah.
It makes the film.
Cool as fuck.
When you think of like big female actresses, I think in today's day and age, she's one of the biggest.
In my head, it goes
think
Jolie, her, and then like Judi Dench. Like,
I don't know about Jolie. She's getting on now. Like she's getting old.
She doesn't really do films, does she?
not anymore. No.
I mean, Melissa Flint she's still doing, I think, and that's it. But I can't get Tomb Raider in my head. Like Melissa Flint and Tomb Raider are very different characters.
You just like her in that fucking lycra suit, don't you? You pervert.
George, that'd be a bit weird if I didn't, wouldn't it?
Yeah, no. Tomb Raider 2, where she's in the underwater scene.
I
Wow.
prefer the
I like
triangle.
the grey suit.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yes.
That's the one.
I prefer the PS1 booty.
He doesn't want that pyramid tits.
I love those. I love seeing the polygon.
Ugh,
I'm gonna go back and play that at some point.
it's so good.
PS2.
Like,
Mate, I think 2 was the best. That's what
all I did was lock the butler in the freezer. That's all I did. I never left the mansion. I just kept locked him in.
Yeah, but that was the beauty of PS1 games. Like, you didn't have to follow the story. Like, now you're forced to follow the story. It's like in the new Tomb Raider. You constantly get killed because they want you to get killed.
You know, they did it again, though.
Wander around the mansion,
You know,
messing around.
in the second Tomb Raider, there's a DLC. You know, you get it with PS Plus. And it's in the old mansion. It's actually pretty sick. Like, you go around the whole mansion and that.
That's the one we need to play, I think. Is that the definite edition? Rise of the Tomb Raider. We got that one.
Is that it? Right?
no, we got
Oh,
Shadow. I don't think we got Rise, are we?
I have George.
Oh, shit.
whatever the second one is.
I'm looking at it on my PlayStation.
If you got it with Plus, like I did, you got the DLC with it, and it's like, yeah, you go in the mansion, you look for clues and that, and there's just a thing you find where she talks about how she used to lock it in the thing.
That's got me and George hyped for that.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's-
did you see what Caleb kept putting on our...
She's like a 5-year-old, and
I don't know if it's co-op.
in this
No,
one,
it's
she's a
like
5-year-old
the
climbing
one we're
up
playing
the
now
top.
isn't co-op. We're just doing it at the same time.
Oh, right.
Basically
Okay.
playing a non-co-op game in co-op.
I get
Did
it.
you see what Caleb kept putting on our channel, Sheddy? About they're doing a Tomb Raider skin in Fortnite.
Yeah, he told me about that.
None of these kids are gonna know what Tomb Raider is.
No.
Kids are gonna be like, "What the hell is Tomb Raider?"
Who the hell
Why
is
is
this
this
pyramid
screen-
titted bitch?
I don't think I can give him mod because he just messes around.
Yeah, nah, me
He
neither.
never I don't think he's trustworthy enough. I said when he gets to 100,
Consider
but
it.
it's just not showing me numbers. It's screenshotting everything we do, and like all of our images and stuff. I wouldn't mind if it was just like one pose and he kept it.
Like I don't mind. Like I find it funny when he does me, but I can tell you care about it. But for me, it's funny.
I've just seen the
It's not that. It's when he crops pictures of my chin, man. I'm not over exactly there. And I've shaved my beard, so you can just see the outline of my double chin, man. And he keeps screenshotting that. Like when I laugh and I got my mouth fully open. He's been screenshotting that as well, putting it in his profile. That is not a good angle for me. And when he said that about Joe earlier, Catman Joe, talking about Joe Exotic, I'm asking Joe, I'm like, oh, you fancy doing another collab? Because I enjoyed, doing the collab we did before. And, he's a good guy. And on Kane and Kane, he's like, oh, Joe Exotic, man, where'd you put your wife? Why'd you bury your wife? I'm like, Caden, that's not cool, man. You're doing that to be offending people. I know Joe wouldn't take it seriously, but if he did that to some kid who's, like, insecure or whatever, based on their name, it's not good, for a moderator. It would be very...
Not in a channel that's predominantly, like, young adults and kids, right? Like... They choose to watch our videos to escape the shitty mundane life they've got.
Me and you are literally like teachers. Like when we see an argument, we have to put a stop to it.
It's so stupid.
Well,
man.
We don't like bullies and stuff, and half these arguments come from stupid, silly comments, which is just ridiculous. Like it's all the 1v1 me on Fortnite, mate. If they grew up in our day and age, and
they'd be beating the fuck up.
They would not survive.
Nah.
I'm not surviving.
Nah. I mean, we went to our school was pretty shit for stuff like that. Like,
represent.
It wasn't the worst though. Like, there was definitely, it wasn't a terrible school, but it wasn't fantastic.
Place where the town was.
Should we put the Shedcast on Spotify, George?
You want me
I don't
to?
feel word though because.
Maybe they'll pay us $1 million like Joe Rogan.
yeah.
We just need to build the podcast to like 1,000 episodes, and then we can do that.
Just dump it in one.
That dickhead on.
We can pay our guests, and we might be able to get some decent guests on. No, I'm not talking about you, Lou. I'm talking about we were going to do a series where we had other big YouTubers on. And we did one on Rocky, and then we couldn't get anyone else in.
No, it wasn't that we couldn't. It was that he just vanished off the face of the fucking earth.
Just decided to start doing movies instead.
I'm a nobody. But in South Korea, I actually have a cult following in South Korea. I actually have millions of fans.
Oh, is it for your raps? Yeah. I remember your SoundCloud.
Yeah, for my songs about beans and sausages.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I did that same thing, so we got something in common there. Because when I was in school, I made this rap in year 7 called J2O, and I used to sing it. And then I waited till 6th form to release a song on YouTube, and it went viral around the whole school. Everyone come up to me like, you that guy who sings the J2O song sitting in the pub with J2O.
Hang on. And since we're talking about J2O, we can't talk about J2O. Do you remember... Oh, what the fuck was his name?
I made some ridiculous songs, George. I made one called Cricket and Detonation Time and ridiculous songs, man. And they all went viral.
Who was the Filipinian kid?
I was like 17. I decided that was the time I was going to put my music.
I was like 17. When I made Beans, I was 17, I think.
Lou, who was the Filipinian kid?
Maybe, if I get to 1 million subs, I might just release that for a laugh. But then if I become one on YouTube who wants a music career, I basically messed it all up in like 5 minutes by releasing that.
Lewis, who was the Filipinian kid? His name's gone out of my head.
Paul!
Man,
what a legend.
He was known as J2O because he went to a party and all he drank was J2O.
Because he's beautiful.
Well, that was, it's like you always sing about stuff that, like beers and drinking and alcohol and, all that stuff. And when we were 17... Obviously, all we was drinking was J2O, so I was like...
Oh, no. At 17, I was on the sesh.
No, not 17, but I read this when I was in year 7, actually.
Remember the Butterwick Field?
Oh, the Butterwick Field, bro. God damn.
I was 12 years old. There's nothing better than being in a pub when you're 12, George, and thinking you look like...
Yeah, no, I reckon that.
Yeah.
Do you remember Acer?
Yeah, twat.
Yeah, how he dislocated Nah, it was just a dickhead kid. He dislocated his shoulder because one of our friends pushed him, and he fell on his own bike and dislocated his shoulder. And he was threatening to sue.
Yeah.
Threatening to sue? I mean, as if you can sue kids, like...
Oh no, it was, in fairness to him, we were in a public place completely fucking out of our face. So, absolutely, it was liable to sue. But, yeah, what a prick.
That whole town is just full of dickheads, isn't it?
I've been coconut mauled.
Anyway, we sound like old men.
We are.
I can't believe that. You don't know what coconut mold is, man. I watched a TikTok the other day, and I got through the whole thing, and it was just like pure nonsense. Like, I think it's like one of them things that baits you in, and it's like, oh, and this happens and whatever, like random facts, and it was pure bullshit. And then at the end, I was like, what is this about? And it gets to like the pinnacle, like the punchline, and then there's nothing there. Just goes, you've been coconut mauled.
Is it like being
it's
stick
when-
bugged?
Is it like you got freaking beans?
You've been rickrolled.
Like,
You've been drawn into the video, and there's no point to the video.
do you remember
and then,
that? You got beans. It was like, you freaking moron, you got beans.
You got beamed. Oh,
Well,
man.
you got stick bug.
Stick bug,
Good,
and then...
you should definitely make like a little YouTube short saying, you got bean, mate.
No, it's not relevant no more, but, like...
I'm a gnome.
I'm
You
a
just got
gnome.
gnomed. What? What? That's a classic.
That is classic.
I've got this fresh one behind me that I bought, and it goes off like every 10 minutes, and sometimes me and Abby are asleep, and it just goes...
You should put a candle in front of it.
You should make it go, you just got gnomed.
Sometimes I decide to sleep at the bottom of the bed because it's colder. And this thing's like right behind my, like, the bottom of the bed, so it's going off, and there's just rain in the head going...
Wait, so you're top entailing with your own girlfriend? What are you, a freak?
Well, I've told her about this, Jordan. I've told her. I said, "Why are you doing that? It's so weird."
They're not married
I
yet.
want to sleep next to
Yeah,
your feet.
they can't be intimate before marriage.
They're not married yet. Good, that's how you should do it. Pre-marriage.
Jesus loves you.
Leave room for Jesus.
Oh man, my mum still calls you
I'm
Jesus
very,
boy.
I'm very loud sleeper as well, so she's just like, "Oh, I'm gonna go sleep then."
Good old Sheila
like,
still calls you Jesus boy,
This is
Luke.
weird.
What?
Good old Sheila, she keeps calling you Jesus boy still. If I was to ever bring you up, oh Jesus boy.
Hey. Why?
Is
Yeah,
that your mum, George?
yeah, my
Well,
mum.
why am I Jesus?
Because at one
In
point
fairness, George,
you said something about
you
Jesus,
look more like-
and that's what stuck with her.
Did I?
Yeah,
Oh,
and I think you had the Jesus
oh,
bracelets on as well, like,
Did I?
yeah, dude.
You had the full-on hair at you.
I didn't have a Jesus bracelet.
Yeah, you did. I think it was you stole it off Shannon.
The effect, you remember it differently.
Oh, what?
No, because we were playing
Jesus
Guitar
what?
Hero on the projector, and you just
Yeah, that was the thing, then, wasn't it? Back in 2010, those bracelet things. Everyone used to.
I never had a Jesus bracelet. I'm willing to die on this hill. Do you mean as a joke? Or...
yeah, no, as a joke. You had it as a joke, but you never wore it as like a fashion thing.
I thought Lewis had died then when he went silent, when he's like, I would die on this hill.
And then just
Yeah,
died.
literally. I'm literally about to
You shouldn't have said
die.
it, mate. You shouldn't have said it.
Well, I'm fine to be Jesus boy. That's all
Yeah, well, like, and I don't know why. It was just like one sentence you'd said at one point, and it stuck.
right.
Was your mum at your university, like, ceremony? She wasn't what she'd have, wasn't it?
Just my dad. Mum was, I think, working or no, Mum was at sisters because it was the same time, same
I wonder
day.
what my nickname is, man. I wonder if I have a nickname. But I think she's only met me once, probably when you moved in. But I don't know whether I spoke to anyone. Just hibernating, I think, for the first couple of days.
Yeah, well, you bought your entire fucking house with you in like a tiny fucking room,
I
dude.
moved my entire house and just left it all there until the night time, and then you come in and was like, "Oh, look at this box of stuff we got, and we got an energy drink and some nut bars, and you want to go to Tesco's, mate?"
Fuck me, dude.
And look you up.
University
Oh, that
was
was
just
bad.
trips to
I can do
Tesco.
that again.
I miss
There we
midnight
go.
Tesco trips, like for no reason
Yeah.
other than just to get out of
You
university.
never
Come.
come, no? I had to persuade you. I'm knocking your door. I'll be like, come on, mate.
That's because
I'm like,
I'd
"You got
normally be
nothing else?"
like fucking full on like phased out, like out of it.
And then if you didn't come, I'll just knock on Brad's door. I'll be like, Brad, do you want to come to Tesco, mate?
Were you
You're
on
gonna
the
share
hash?
Chinese room, mate.
Were you on the hash, George?
No, just
cool,
fucking
Brad.
out of it from uni and then drinking as well. Like
One of
I
my
depressing
favourite
drink.
things was having Chinese roommates and getting to pick their names. Like they put me in charge of picking all their names. I called one Brad. I called one Roger. What did I call it? I was just naming them all. But I persuaded him that it was a really cool name, so it was forever known as Roger then to everybody because they use that name all around all the classes. And I was like, yeah, mate, Roger Moore. It's a classic name, man. It's cool.
Like it would have been if it wasn't you deciding it, probably. Like you could have called him Roger Rabbit. Like him and. Have you seen them remaking it?
No, I was thinking Roger from American Dad.
They're remaking Space Jam, or they're doing a follow-up on Space Jam.
LeBron.
They're doing Space Jam.
LeBron's getting old. It's getting old, man.
LeBron.
They need to hurry up.
That's something that Brad always used to say as well. LeBron James.
They need to hurry up before his knees go.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was like living in uni. Like that was amazing. Like, it was so much fun. Me and Georgia just spent most time having showers and playing Apex. Not playing Apex, playing Ark Survival. Just to avoid doing
yeah, because like the university work was like, honestly, it was piss easy. You could get away with basically doing anything, right?
It was second year, wasn't it? Like, yeah.
Yeah, second year.
Second year, it wasn't third.
First year didn't matter. Second year was chill as fuck, and then third year was panic stations.
Because I think a lot of people get so worried about it. Like I was definitely a big worrier until like third year when I was like, I didn't even care for some reason. I don't know what happened. Like that was the most important one, but I still passed it.
So like the thing is, once you've been through it, you realise it's a fucking business. Like they will take on fucking anyone.
And you sort of get used to what they expect as well. Like, because I was always a big writer. Like I used to write thousands of words, and I used to love doing that. So because I would explain things in so much detail, like it was almost impossible for me to.
Did you write stuff like creative stuff?
Yeah.
I did some script work at uni. That was quite fun.
It's the stuff where you get full creative freedom, which fucking threw me, because I'd been used to like GCSE shit, which was.
The board, George is like, well, this is what I've done. But George's stuff was crazy.
Well, I came from the thing is, I came from a place where the sixth form teacher, one of them was Greek and barely spoke much English and stunk a bit like garlic, and then the other one was fucking probably weeded out all the time because it was.
You wouldn't get full creative freedom because you'd have all these teachers in your ears being like, well, you could do this.
Yeah, but you could you could ignore them.
Like,
You can twist the brief to whatever you wanted, right?
I wish I did sometimes because I would have them saying, make this really high quality product, and another teacher coming in being like, oh, you could make it out of cardboard. And then I come to you and I'm like, George, we need to make this lo-fi helmet.
Which we fucking did.
We put loads of time into it, and then I get there and he's like, yeah, it's shit, mate. And I was like, what? The other teacher told me to build it like this. I've literally been told to make it like this, to make it lo-fi, and you called it shit. Me and George spent 5 hours on this. But it did look shit.
No, it did, but it looked shit on purpose. It wasn't like it was made lo-fi, low budget, shit sci-fi, like fucking brain helmet.
And ever since then, I'm like hating that teacher. Like he during the masters, he was having a chat with me, and he was saying it again. He's like, you need to get your shit together. He sent me an email saying I need to get my shit together. And he was just mad because no one in the whole entire class turned up for his one-on-one talk. No one turned up for it.
Because he's a fucking wanker.
Because he was just trying to enforce his ideas so strongly, and that's not good in an art school.
That's not good in any school. To fully...
School.
If my brother has
if he gets stuck with them as his fucking tutor, bro. Oh...
Gareth as well, though he can be a bit. Sometimes he's all right. Sometimes, but when he get first time you have him, and he sat down with us that one time, and he was giving everyone these ridiculous projects. He said to me I said I was going to do some drawings to start off, some sketches. He's like, what about you do 5,000? He's like, you can do one every 10 minutes, and I was like, 5,000, mate? Are you mad? You know,
are you mad? Like the last time you told me to do something, you told me to glue a fucking helmet together.
I'm like, how about I do 10? And then we work from there. He's like, can you do 150? And then he goes to somebody else, like Jess or whatever, and he's like, I'm going to do a painting. He's like, do 10 paintings then. It gave us ridiculous amounts of stuff, wouldn't it? And no one would do it. Like, it's impossible. Just stupid stuff, yeah. But then we all got used to it, and we was like, oh, we don't give a crap like what he says. Just do our own thing.
I mean, the thing is, like, first year, I paid attention to what they were saying, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna slightly stick to the briefs. And I was like, actually, what's the fucking point?
You stick to the brief, and then you kind of get slapped for it anyway, because then you're not having full creative freedom of your own. Like, obviously, you have to kind of go. They have to give you ideas, but you have to go in your own direction. Otherwise, you're not going to get where you need to be with it. Because you have to write about this stuff, and if you're doing what other people say,
yeah, especially with them, like he was such a prick about it that
he just tries to force you into his mindset.
Like Stuart was a fucking terrible teacher, but he was.
That's why, because of them as well in the masters, I almost had a breakdown, man. When he come to me and I was struggling with ideas for like a month. I'd been there for a month, and I was like, I don't think I can do this because I don't know what I want to do. And I spoke to Andrew, and he's really chill about it. He's like, yeah, just have a play. Don't worry about it. You'll think of something. And then I have a thing with them the next day, whatever, or the next week, and he's like, you need to get your shit together, mate. He's like, you've got like a month left, and I'm like, yeah, I can't think of anything. Andrew said, jot down what I do. He's like, you need to get it done, or you're gonna fail. In the end, I got it all done, and I was like sorted, and I did it in my own way, and I basically took Andrew's advice, and it worked out. But you know, them saying that didn't really help.
No, it pushes you into a corner.
He's supposed to be supportive.
He shouldn't be a teacher. Like everyone had issues with him. He was just a fucking wanker.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go anyway.
Right, mate.
Good night.
Thanks for having me.
Later,
Drunk
Tater.
podcast next week.
I had a blast.
Drunk podcast next week.
Oh yeah, I don't mind doing it drunk.
Yeah, it depends what day it is. Friday, yeah.
Yeah, we can do Friday.
We can do Friday.
Banger. All right. See you then.
Later, mate.
Yeah.
Alright.
So,
What do you want, George?
you want to do Tomb Raider?
Are we doing Tomb Raider? Yeah.
Let me see if Taff's awake. If Taff's awake, I won't. But if she's asleep, I will.
We'll message her now then on the podcast.
I'm
I
dead.
really enjoy talking about it. I think we need to do a podcast on it because I think a lot
I think
of
she's
kids
asleep.
will
We
get it.
might-
Andrew says it today, like,
Girlfriend's asleep. We can play Tomb Raider.
yeah, I think a lot of kids worry too much, and I think when you get to our age, I was thinking about this earlier, like you realise there's always a path. Like
So
every time
I
I've been
think
down,
maybe we should do it
like,
next year if we were to do it, because either that or during clearing. Like those are the times when it's going to be a huge issue for people, right? Because
Well, I
university
don't know, 'cause
applications have already been through.
now, like September is when people start, but around May, everyone's like getting their applications in and watching all them videos and stuff.
Yeah, we can do it. We can do it.
So
We can do it.
actually- and then you need like what you need to move to uni and stuff. Because when I was moving in, there was all these lists with thousands of things on.
You didn't
I
need
barely
anything.
used anything.
No, you need a fucking saucepan, and honestly, you can get away with a wok. The wok will do fucking anything for kitchen implements.
Literally everything I need. And plus most combination of iron boards and stuff like that. There's a lot of things you don't know until you're there, and I think our expertise on it is really useful for people.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to end the stream here, guys. Thank you for joining our podcast.
And we'll probably be back in about half an hour.
Tomb Raider.
We'll take a little break and we'll be back. And,
Bye, guys.
Yeah, it's George's girlfriend. I don't know what time the Fortnite stream